Or is it gonna spread it around?
Yeah.
Anything I need to sign, you need to sign.
Fire rescue, because they need equipment, and there was one other one, and then, the rest goes to the school. But
Well, see, fire and rescue get their own property tax.
yeah, that's what I thought.
We don't get it.
I don't know what.
You know, and it's our choice.
What's that?
I was with Phil Berger.
Listen to this.
He said, Whitney,
The small town thing?
yeah, a quarter percent sales tax. And I said,
Yeah, if you have to pay the tax.
he says, well, that's what we're gonna do. He says, I'm making.
He's dealing. So,
Perpetuity.
Yeah.
but we'll contribute something to it.
Valid language. It has to pass.
They wanna keep it for themselves.
Oh, good for you. What kind of magic?
That's what King's gonna talk about.
Oh, okay.
I got a gift for you guys.
That's right.
A gift.
Present to you.
How are you?
Happy as Master. I'm here for Gilbert County Schools. Yes, with
Defense
Creed.
project?
Yes.
We
I'm
put
the-
you as high up on the agenda as we could.
So you don't have to just hang with us.
Oh, I'd like it.
Well, hang with us. You're welcome to
Lions
stay.
Club.
We're not trying to run you off.
Robbie.
Of,
I don't. Oh, yes, I
Pilot
do. I do
Mountain
have. I've got one
Country.
here.
Hey, brother, how you doing? Good to see you.
Okay.
What's actually.
Yeah, I was gonna, so, you can
I'll
put it
pass
in
them out.
case you want, but we were talking about it, and, she says, why don't you donate to Stokesdale? So I talked to the Lions Club, which I'm a member of, and I said, can I use your name? And they said, oh, yeah. They said, how much is it gonna cost us? I said, nothing, we're gonna take care of it. And they go, oh, definitely do it. Yeah, so I'll present it. and-
Ethan Creed. Yeah, there.
What- that- yeah.
Ethan, your last name again?
Creed.
Creed. Ethan Creed.
I think I met you. I met Norris.
So he's on his way out. He's retired. Retiring. Me and I don't know if you. Dalton. That's fine. Dalton.
I met Dalton. He was with Kevin Combs a couple months ago when a rezoning. Yeah.
Yes.
Up here when
Well, actually, I was here with Kevin.
Oh,
They
okay.
did the rezoning. I was here for another one. Anyway, but
It was
Me
the
and Dalton
the
bought
twin
out.
homes.
yeah, there's townhomes.
I didn't realize Norris was an owner.
Oh yeah, Norris was majority owner.
Really?
Yep. His dad is my father, Aaron Creed.
Yeah.
And Hugh Creed was my grandfather. I never met him.
Okay.
So being engineering, more than 50% has to have a professional license.
Right.
So Norris was the PE of the license. So now me and Dalton.
Sometimes women get mad when I hold the door open.
Get the train going.
Yeah, that's great,
As long
man.
as you can.
That's great. That's
Good.
Yes.
No, I mean y'all gotta.
So good. How's it going, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, that's a weird percentage of our, I was,
No, I don't remember.
I was troop one of ours.
Okay.
So it's
Who was this?
Oldwood State Council.
So you went your,
Yeah.
yeah, I got my, I was council president, council years ago, when we were actually had this.
So I looked into, it's weird, I think 50% of our population is like that. Yeah, like,
That's a big deal.
I think like 3 of our surveyors and me, and it's kind of.
It must be something in the water.
Yeah. And
Well,
Norris was a
his son
scout
just
master.
became an Eagle Scout.
Congratulations.
It's a big deal.
Oh,
You know, it's 343 steps. We and I both have changed it. We might have added a different paragraph to replace one, but 343 steps, you do 342.
We just had a young man. We just had a young man,
Yeah.
Your Eagle Scout project.
probably 13, 14 years old, for his scout. He and his scout mates, they built 2 really nice nature trails. About 1.5 miles of trails. One's over here on this property and one's in the very back. I mean, they're really good.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean,
Trying to get one of my developers.
So what this is, trails in a subdivision.
yeah.
Goes bad.
No, that's the ticket right there. I mean,
Free child labor.
We don't think of it that way, but it is. You know, that's why.
you said it. Right now, I mean, we're very fortunate and grateful
Where's the mayor?
that his group. I forget the scout
See,
troop.
Mike Massacre?
No, he's at the other one. He's at the Methodist Church.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one, too. I mean, you
Yeah.
got good ones out here.
Hatsinger's group, they churn out Eagle Scouts. I mean,
Oh, yeah, he has a whole program.
yeah, he does. What's up, Jimmy?
Hey, Derek. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, good to see you.
I'm good. I guess it's good to have at least one Democrat in the House.
Yeah, well, it doesn't, I don't know what that means, but okay. We try and be good. I was with Phil Berger this week, and we had a nice meeting. He was telling me about the 4% sales tax. And he said, just so they know, they can't change it. It's gonna be always available. If the county commissioners change, they can't change where the money goes. And he says the money's going to Stokesdale, Summerfield, Bridge, and Pleasant Garden.
His staff, they do a good job keeping us updated. I'm
So
sure
you know about it?
There's a bulletin coming up.
Yeah, and then a percentage is going to fire or something, and then another percentage is going for something else. He was rattling so fast, I couldn't keep up. And then the rest is gonna go to the school, but they're not getting all the 60 million. He's spreading it around, which I think is great. But the thing that really was, they can't change it. And that's the big plus.
No wonder it didn't make sense.
Oh, that's, I remember you telling me.
Good to see you
Hope you're
guys.
spelling it right, yep. Good to see you.
Oh, I can see how well. Yeah, I was getting there. Hope you're doing all right.
Thank you.
Hey, now, you all right?
He will not be joining us in the beginning. He hopes to join us later on.
You want to catch the door while you're standing, young man?
He's on there, sir. Good, good. Doing good. Yeah, come see you this morning.
I know, I wouldn't hear that.
I should've thought about that. I was gonna go over it. I didn't see that email from Chuck where it was all that stuff on. I see it.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
Yeah, she didn't know who it was, she didn't.
I still want to get there and look it over, but, it is what it is.
Well, it's not quite that. You're talking about for the reporting.
Well,
It's, he's got some updates to give, so he'll be ready to talk about it. He's done quite a good.
Wonder who I did.
Summarizing the changes, I think, which will be helpful. Makes it a little bit easier to choose.
Yeah.
I see the, budget measures have set in.
The what, my friend?
I see the budget measures have set in.
Yeah, that's. Got the cheap coffee too.
Hey, Bill, how are you? Good.
This is the monthly Stokesdale Town Council meeting. This is June 12th, 2025 at 7 p.m. I'm going to call this to order. If you would, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Jones will do our invocation this evening.
If you would bow your heads, please. Dear Lord, we come before you this evening with many blessings. We have your word to guide us. We thank you for the U.S. Constitution that I believe was inspired by your word. And we thank you for all the rich history and heritage that we have with our country. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the veterans from June the 6th, the Normandy D-Day invasion, and remember that we have July the 4th coming up that we can celebrate the independence of our country. And while we're a small pinprick on the map, we're a small town, but we thank you for the many blessings and all the protections you have from things like riots in L.A. and all the wars and strife in the world. And we also thank you for the many blessings that we have from technology and science and food and just right down to our very clothes on our back. We ask that you give wisdom to this council in determining where monies are allocated, improving this year's budget, that we will always be mindful that we're spending our citizens' money. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I'd like to review and adopt the agenda. I make a motion that we do adopt the agenda.
I'll second that motion.
Discussion.
Mayor, would you mind the idea of continuing the faucets down at the park?
Number 15 would continue to next month till July.
I'll still second the motion if you're amenable to it, Mike.
I am. Any other discussion? Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Mr. Landrith?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
And I am also aye. Public safety reports. Do we have anyone here from the fire department? No? Mr. Wagner, will you be kind enough?
Mayor, can we acknowledge on the record that Mr. Rigsby's not here yet?
I apologize.
Did we do that?
Yes.
Maybe I missed it.
No, I did not. I did it before we opened the session, but there are 4 council members present. Mr. Rigsby is not here at the present, but he will join us, as I'm told. He plans to join us later in the meeting.
Okay, so this is the report provided by the Stokesdale Fire District, and this is from Chief Todd Galton. It says, below is our monthly incident report for May 2025. There were 23 medical-related calls, 18 fire-related calls, 23 other, for a total of 74. And that's all for the fire department report.
Sweet. We have Guilford County Sheriff's Office. Mr. Wagner, I believe you have that as well.
Yes, so this is the report provided by the Guilford County Sheriff's Office. This comes from Sergeant Ryan Seals of the District 1 office. For the month of May, the Sheriff's Office responded to 130 calls for service in Stokesdale, which resulted in 19 case reports. Of note, on May the 1st, detectives arrested a gentleman at the age of 21, whose name I'm going to have a hard time pronouncing, so I'm going to skip it, an Indian national who was studying in the U.S. on a student visa after he arrived at a residence at the Countryside Manor in an effort to scam an elderly resident there. He was a courier for a scam believed to be based overseas, in which subjects pretended to be Guilford County Sheriff's deputies and federal agents and threatened to arrest the victim, alleging her name had been connected to criminal activity in another part of the country. However, to avoid the arrest, they used high-pressure tactics to attempt to exploit her of a large sum of money. Detectives were at the victim's home and took this gentleman into custody upon taking custody of a package. He was charged with felony obtaining property by false pretenses and felony exploitation of an elderly adult and is being held on a $3 million bond at the Guilford County Jail in Greensboro. The Sheriff's Office would like to remind all residents that we will never contact you requesting payment to make any warrant or summons go away, and we will never ask you to deposit money into an ATM or Bitcoin cryptocurrency ATM. Please do not engage with these subjects and hang up on them and call our office immediately. And there is a press release attached that's in everyone's packet. And on the back side of that press release is actually the mugshot of that gentleman. The calls by type, just a reminder, this is the call of type upon initial dispatch. Call nature often was changed after further investigation upon deputy arrival. There were 2 disturbance, 23 alarm, 2 assault, 6 domestic, 1 weapons offense, 1 warrant, 4 drugs, 4 fraud, 1 sex crime, 3 accident, 53 other, 12 suspicious, 2 theft, 1 trespassing, and 15 traffic. And that concludes the Sheriff's Office report.
Thank you, Robbie.
Thank you, Robbie. I'm going to take mayoral license at this point, and I want to mention a couple of things. There are several scams that are going around. I take some joy in taking telemarketing calls. If they'll engage with me, I enjoy, because I don't have anything else to do at that particular time. That being said, a couple of them that are just asking to be eliminated real quick. If you use a telephone landline, if you have a telephone landline, AT&T, and someone should happen to call and they want to save you 40% on your bill, what they're after is your PIN number that gives them access to your account. They'll probably give you an 806 telephone number. 855 and 800, I believe, are the 2 AT&T numbers. 806 is not an AT&T number. They got me on this one, but I caught it quick enough that I stopped it. But anyway, the other one is they want to change out your cable boxes, and all they're after there is a credit card number, because they'll have there's no charge, of course, but they're going to have the cable boxes delivered to your house, and then someone will come set it up. My question, of course, would be, well, if they're going to come set it up, why don't they just bring it and I won't have to have it shipped? But that wasn't the right question. But that is a scam, and they're both going on. Those are just point of fact. PIN number on your telephone bill and the credit card on the cable boxes. Other than that, let's get back to the meeting. Our town administrator, town clerk, Robbie Wagner.
Yeah, I'll be glad to read over the admin report. This is in everybody's packet, so I'll just cover a few of the big ones here, but if at any point you have any questions, just let me know. But I'll start with the water system report. This is provided by Priscilla Hunsucker, our water system customer service manager. There were 5 water meters installed last month, 57 water meters in stock, 10 applications for transfer of service and water meters in, 25 water meters and applications on hold for builders, 12 work orders, 70 811s, 878 water bills mailed out, and 32 reservations or rentals. And I'll go to the admin report, and just wanted to let you all know, I know I put it in there, but I'll read this because it's important. Ms. Dale Martin, our deputy town clerk, has announced her return to retirement effective June 25th, 2025. So just want to thank Ms. Martin for her years of service here and all that she's done to help the town and myself and all the other staff members here. So we're going to miss her, but we know that she is looking forward to retiring for the second time. Some other hot topics that I'd like to hit. Of course, there's several meetings coming up this month and next month, but of note, on June the 24th of this year, the Project R-5823 informational meeting, which is hosted by the North Carolina Department of Transportation, will be held here at the Stokesdale Town Hall in the council chambers. Now, according to DOT, the time that they would like designated for Town of Stokesdale officials is from 3 o'clock p.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. And then they've asked that the time designated for the general public be from 5 o'clock p.m. to 7 o'clock p.m.
The date on that is the 25th again?
June 24th.
24th.
Mm-hmm. And that concludes the admin report unless you have any questions.
Do you have anything on planning?
So for the planning board report, this report was created by Mr. Winfrey, Mason Winfrey, on Tuesday, but we've since found that that deadline has passed, so there will not be a planning board meeting as originally scheduled for Thursday, June the 26th. So no planning board meeting that day. There has not been anything submitted to the county for review. So the July meeting is scheduled for Thursday, July the 24th.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Rigsby is not with us at this time, so we're going to move right on to Mr. T. Stevenson, the chairman for our Park Improvement Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, folks.
Good evening.
We continue to evaluate various options to enhance the safety, security, and aesthetic appeal of our park facilities. Among those things that we have considered recently, we have obtained a proposal to prepare new signage to refurbish the sign at the entrance to Stokesdale Town Park at Martins Meadow. Mr. Foy will discuss our recommendation under agenda item number 12 tonight. In addition, we have obtained pricing proposals from several vendors related to installing decorative fencing and landscaping to control the parking and improve safety along the driveway entrance to Town Park, adjacent to the basketball and pickleball courts. Just of a note, as I came in this morning, I rode down to the facility and noticed that there are 7 vehicles on the right-hand side and 3 vehicles on the left-hand side there in what actually is no parking area. This creates a safety issue as well as inconvenience, as well as deterioration of the property there with regard to, no grass, ruts, those kind of things. So we want to do something to help alleviate that situation, and we will discuss that again under item 12 tonight. We are continuing to look at options for repairing or replacing the hinged door in the large message board there in front of the concession stand down at Town Park. The existing door, if you will, needs to be replaced. It is not repairable using the same framework. It's a design flaw as well, so we do want to try to do something a little different that would be more feasible and easier to access in that regard. So we're still looking at various options to do that, to make that a nice message board that can be accessed and where we can post information. I think we probably will also maybe post a map of the disc golf course that's out there. We do have that being used on a frequent basis now. It was also nice to note that while I was going through the park a little earlier, that the volleyball courts are in good use. They were full. The playground was full. The soccer fields are being utilized well, and the walking trail, again, is being used. And I did actually see people using the new nature facility walking trail as well. So the park is getting good use. We're very proud of what has been done and look forward to doing a little bit more to put some finishing touches on it and continue to make it a very nice, pleasing place and attractive for the citizens here of Stokesdale and surrounding. There are no currently scheduled meetings of the Park Improvement Committee at this time. As we develop additional information, we will call special call meetings as necessary to accommodate in accordance with our requirements. Any questions?
T, does there exist already a map of the disc golf course?
There's a schematic that I have located. I don't know that there's a full size or a larger size.
Are you planning to basically print something in color or?
Hopefully, yep.
Okay.
Yep, we'll research and see exactly what is available. We'll have to go through those files and stuff.
I would think it would be nice to have maybe a handout like that here in the town hall.
Absolutely. That we could put together pretty quickly.
Okay, good.
So, yep,
Thank you. Is there anything else?
Thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. T.
thank you.
Okay, our financial reports, Ms. Kimberly Thacker.
Good evening. Okay, we'll start with the general fund. On the account balances, and this is as of May 31st, 2025. The general fund in the ARPA account, we've got $42,604.48. The Bank of Oak Ridge, the money market account, $1,084.36. The Bank of Oak Ridge CDARS total $2,820,124.51. Our Fidelity Bank checking account, which is our operating account, is $346,605.75. Petty cash is $150. The total investment earnings for the month of May was $9,261.78. The total year-to-date is $98,859.83. The accounts receivable due to the general fund from the water enterprise account for the month of May for the shared overhead expense reimbursement is $15,794.74. Our total year-to-date shared overhead expense totals $141,791.71. The sales tax refund due back to the general fund as of 5/31 is $763.12. The total accounts receivable for the month of May totals $17,365.74. The total assets in the general fund is $3,210,569.10. Okay. We'll move over to the water. In the water enterprise account, these totals are also for May 31st, 2025. The Bank of Oak Ridge CDARS total $1,610,690.31. Our capital reserve fund account is $42,440.22. The Fidelity Bank checking is $681,414.78. The North Carolina Capital Management Trust Fund is $596,715.83. The total investment earnings for the month of May in the water enterprise account is $6,945.07. The total year-to-date investment earnings is $63,435.90. The accounts receivables for the, as of 5/31, totals $39,217.63. This also includes the May billing. Our accounts receivable for active or inactive 90 days plus is 0. The sales tax refund due back to the water enterprise account as of 5/31 is $2,308.53. Our total assets for the water enterprise account is $2,972,787.30. The accounts payable, which include our payroll reimbursement back to the general fund, the water reimbursement for the shared overhead expense, and this also includes our accounts payable recurring miscellaneous items, total $47,212.80. The total water capacity fees for the month of May totaled $6,750. The total year-to-date water capacity fees collected is $39,750. And that's all that I have for that. However, I do have something else, unless anyone has any questions.
Any questions?
No questions? Okay. If you guys noticed in your packet that I have a request to move some money, which is a budget transfer within the category, and this does not require a budget amendment. For the general fund and the water enterprise account, and you should have your spreadsheet in your packet for this. For the general fund, under the general administrative, I am requesting to move a total of $1,400. I am requesting to increase category 70-200 for internet and phone of $1,400. And I am requesting to decrease housekeeping, office supplies, and software, which is category number 40-700, of $1,400. And that's for the general fund. Do you guys want to do this one at a time, or do we just?
Kim, just keep on going over it, and
Okay.
I plan to make a motion.
Okay, all right, I just want to make sure we didn't want to do one at a time. Okay, so then for the water enterprise account for the direct operational expenses, I am requesting to increase the following: the contract operations for marking lines of $6,000, dues, subscriptions, and office supplies of $300, and the quality control and testing of $700. And then I am requesting to decrease the engineer and infrastructure consulting for non-capital of $6,300, and requesting to decrease the supplies water hydrant maintenance repair of $700, and that both totals $7,000 increase and $7,000 decrease.
Okay, so just to confirm, these are movements within the same category under
Correct.
each budget?
Yes, the general fund is in the general administrative, all of that is in general administrative, and the water enterprise is in the direct operational. All of that is in direct operational.
Thank you. Then I'll make a motion that we approve the line item transfers within the categories as presented by Finance Officer Ken Thacker, and also as outlined on the document in our packet dated June the 12th, 2025, with the one exception that this does not cover the budget amendment that we'll discuss later. That's also in our packet.
Sorry, I shouldn't have put that on there.
Do I have a second?
No, sir.
Got a motion and a second. Is there discussion? Call the vote. Mr. Voy?
Aye.
Mr. Landrith?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Ms. Thacker, I would like to request that you pull that out separately and email it to us, this sheet,
Okay,
at your earliest convenience.
sure.
And I am I.
Thank you, Kim. Is that it?
For now.
I know you got the big one's coming, but
Yeah.
for that, thank you.
Yes.
We're going to open it up for public comment. I would ask that anyone who'd like to speak, if you would, just limit it to 3 minutes. I have one here from Mr. Bill Goebel. Bill, if you'd like to speak.
Hi, Bill Goebel from Greensboro, North Carolina, 1402 West Ridge Road. It's good to see everybody. I haven't been here for a few months and been a little busy, but it's nice to come out in this nice balmy weather to see everybody. So, my wife and I have been talking about some of the experiences we went through the last couple of years that we were involved in, and we have a fondness for the people of Stokesdale. I thought overall they treated us very nice. And they helped us at times of need and supported us, and I appreciate that. So we started thinking about what could we do for the people of Stokesdale. And I'm a member of the Lions Club here, and so we started thinking about it, and we purchased a painting for you folks to put up wherever you want to put up. And it's a country painting. It's a picture of Pilot Mountain with a tobacco barn. And I thought it would fit appropriately here in Stokesdale. So I'd like to present this on behalf of the Lions Club and my wife and I. And I'd love to take a picture so I can prove to my wife that I did this.
Well, on behalf of the town, let me say thank you.
You're welcome.
Gentlemen, if you would, step around. Let's get a picture.
All of us.
Let's get a picture.
We all see this.
Don't charge us extra for that now.
I'll send it.
Would anyone else like to speak?
Well, I'd like to thank Mr. Goebbels, having spent a lot of my youth in tobacco barns. I think that fits in right around here rather well, so thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing. I declare the public hearing is open. Our town financial officer is Kimberly Thacker. Ms. Thacker will introduce the proposed budget. Pass it to Jimmy. There's yours.
All right. We did present this, the operating budget for fiscal year 25-26 at the last council meeting. And you guys have the message in front of you. You've got the, for the general fund and the water enterprise. The only thing, there is one small movement that came up, and it actually just came up this week, and that is on the general fund. We're not changing any numbers in the budget as far as the ending numbers. Everything's still going to be balanced to zero. However, in the payroll expenses for line 8503 for the short-term disability insurance, we need to move that from $575, we need to move that up to $1,200. So I need to move $625 from the contingency expenses into that category. We finally received a number for the short-term disability after waiting for a while, and so that's the only change that I see. But everything else is good, the message is good, the ordinance, of course, with that small change.
Ms. Thacker, I'm still looking for 8503. Can you give me a page?
In the payroll, looked in the payroll expenses on the budget, general fund. Do you see that category? It's under legal and professional.
Payroll expenses.
What page is that?
I haven't yet. The pages are numbered. Which page are you on?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting ready to find, what page it
Page 3
is.
of 6. You're talking about on the
Page 6.
Page 5 of 6, page 5 of 7.
Thank you. Very helpful.
Sorry.
Oh, and
Yeah, in the proposed budget.
Okay.
Different on there.
So we're moving what to where?
The contingency expenses, which is on page 6, right down below you. That number right now is $5,483.09. That number needs to be changed to $4,858.09. And we need to move that $625 up to the short-term disability, which will make that $1,200 even.
1,200 even?
Yes, the short-term disability will be $1,200 even. I think that's 332.
And Kim, I acknowledge that you presented this in May, but just from a high level, would you mind summarizing the revenue and expenses
Yes.
in each one of the fund?
Sure. Okay. In the general fund, our total revenue, we have proposed $495,024.48. Our total expenses is $678,607.70. Then we have the total overhead reimbursement from the Water Enterprise Fund, $183,583.22. And with that, we will have a balanced budget. If you take the $183,583.22, because we are reimbursed that amount, which reduces our expenses to that at $495,024.48 and gives us a balanced budget in the general fund.
Perfect. And can you confirm that this budget does not levy a property tax?
That is correct. This budget does not levy a property tax. And then we'll move to the water enterprise on your summary sheet. Our total revenue is $5,079,120.76. Our total expenses is $5,079,120.76, which equal a balanced budget for the water enterprise account.
And from the revenue side, I just would want to note that that $5 million plus is made up of $762,000 in normal operating revenue, and then $55,000 from non-operating revenue, and that would include interest earned on money in CDs and CDARs. And then the large driver of that is nearly $4.3 million of grants that we've received, either through the federal government, the state of North Carolina, or Guilford County, and/or a combination of all three.
That is correct. And I can give that, do you want me to give those details, or you?
Well, you know, we are presenting the budget and,
Okay.
you know,
Okay, for the grants, as far as what Derek was just talking about, the Guilford County ARPA grant, that will be $2,826,174.91. The North Carolina House Bill 1163 is $1,097,535.69. The North Carolina Division of Water Infrastructure Asset Inventory Asset Grant is $245,781.76. The North Carolina Division of Water Infrastructure Planning Grant is $92,628.40. And that totals for the non-operating grant and intergovernmental transfers is $4,262,120.76.
great. And does the Water Enterprise Fund, does it include a rate increase a water rate increase for
No,
next year?
no, it does not. No, sir.
Okey dokey, thank you.
Any other questions? Comments? Council? Do we have any comments from the floor? In opposition or in favor? Okay. Motion?
I think it's a great budget. Thank you, Kim, for all your work, Robbie as well. We did have 2 budget workshops that started, one in April, one in May for this. Kim's done a great job. She presented this in full in the May meeting. And I think it's a great budget message as well. And I believe this is it's either our 36th or 37th consecutive year of not levying a property tax. So, and I still think got a great town. It's a great quality of life. Got some good things going on for us. I'm going to make a motion to approve the 25-26 operating budget as presented with the one change that Kim shared with us to, excuse me, Kim, I'm flipping to the page.
It was page 5 of 7.
Ma'am, it was. With the one change of reducing the contingency expenses by $625, that's
Yes.
line item 9,500, and increasing the short-term disability insurance line item 8,503 by $625. That's my motion.
I'll second the motion, Mr. Foy. If you will allow this set of minutes to have some sort of note in it that will let our citizens know how long it's been since we've had our sales tax distribution money. Does anybody remember which year that was?
03.
03. I'd like for the minutes to reflect that since 2003, we've done without our sales tax distribution money from Guilford County that we were once receiving.
Tim, I don't have an exact financial figure of what that has meant to Stokesdale, but just if we were to talk about, an about figure, that's cost us about $20 million over that time period.
Yeah, we do know because of recent research in Raleigh that figure is 1.6 million. Is that correct?
This year, that would be the effect of it, yeah.
Yeah. So,
We could have really redecorated the mayor's office with that, couldn't we?
well, I guess we could.
And all I got's a closet.
If the mayor will
I
get
don't even
busy
have
and
a
get it
closet.
back, we'll talk about that.
All right.
Somebody's been feeding at our trough.
Somebody has been feeding at our trough.
Yeah, somebody has.
Feeding somebody, hadn't we, Jimmy?
And thank you for whoever did that to us.
And Robbie, if you could just, that's an estimate, so it's not an exact, but.
Estimate of 20 million.
Okay, I have a motion, I have a second.
Before we vote,
yes, yes,
just
sir.
a couple of things I'd like to make clear on the record that.
Mr. Winfrey.
Since the budget was presented on May 8th, I think it has been available for inspection by the public since that day, or since May 9th, is that correct?
Correct.
And we've advertised this public hearing regarding the budget as required by law, so we've required with a notice requirement that the public is aware that this hearing has occurred. So there's some put that in the record.
Thank you.
Okay. With that said, I'll call the vote. Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Mr. Landreth? Aye. Mr. Jones?
Aye.
And I am also aye.
And I have already updated with those numbers, and I've also updated the ordinance as well, and I will email that over to Robbie, and he'll
Okay.
have all that.
Great,
Thank you.
great.
Thank you.
Okay, this will,
I
I'm
also
sorry.
have
Go ahead.
just an additional motion to make concerning the money. I'd like to accept or adopt the Town of Stokesdale schedule and fees and charges for fiscal year 25 and 26 as laid out in our packet, and the date on that is May the 8th, 2025.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Discussion?
Mr. Winfrey, can this fee schedule be adjusted during the course of the year?
Yes, sir. Any part of the budget could be adjusted.
Okay, is that a public hearing scenario, or can it be done by a simple majority vote of council at a public meeting?
I think at any public meeting, you can make a motion to amend the budget. It does not require a public hearing to amend the budget.
Yeah, well, I was speaking specifically about the fee schedule. We're voting on the fee schedule right now, right?
Right. Yeah, and that can be, there's no requirement through a public hearing to amend the fee schedule.
Okay, I wanted to make sure down the road that we were free if we needed to adjust those fees, that they could be adjusted up or down with a lot of process. Okay, thank you.
As long as there's notice, it would appear on the agenda. I assume it would appear on the agenda for a meeting, and people would have notice of the agenda for the meeting.
Okay, but again, it's not a public hearing scenario to change the fee schedule.
That's right.
Okay, discussion over. Call for the vote. Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Mr. Landrith?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
And I am also aye. This closes the public hearing. New business, consideration of the 2025-2026 fiscal year operating budget ordinance number 0-202502. Mr. Foy?
I'm a little bit confused. I thought we just adopted that.
Is that what it is? I'm sorry. Yeah,
Do three.
Gotten out of order. I've gotten out of order.
I don't know. Help me, Robbie.
You're good. So it's always best to have a line item specifically for the budget ordinance. So you approve the budget, but it doesn't hurt to make a motion strictly approving the budget ordinance for the fiscal year 25-26. We did it last year.
But not required.
Not required.
Let's move on. Consideration of 2024-2025 fiscal year operating budget ordinance amendment, ordinance 0-2025 -03. That's the same answer.
Actually, we need to talk about this.
So that is a budget
Is what
amendment.
we need to talk about? Let's talk about it then. Okay,
That's a budget amendment for the current budget that we're in from 24 to 25.
I got you. All right.
So,
Thanks for keeping me
Kim,
up.
you have one budget amendment needed for the general fund?
That is correct.
Heidi?
And this is, so I am requesting a budget amendment to amend the general administrative expenses. We need to add a line item for solid waste disposal expense. Section B, category, I'm proposing category 70-101 for solid waste disposal expense, which we would increase that line, of course, to $4,920. Our balance would be $4,920. And then under section B for category 90-500, under contingency expenses, I'm requesting to decrease that number by $3,745.17, and that balance would be zero. And then the category 40-600 for office equipment purchase repair, I'm requesting to decrease that amount by $1,174.83, which that balance would be $8,825.17.
Okay. In my understanding, to add the line item for the solid waste disposal, that is not necessarily saying that we're gonna spend $4,920 this fiscal year. That is 18 days left.
That's correct.
It is essentially, those are reserved funds, because the income that comes in on the top there, that income can only be used for certain purposes. So this is kind of how we do the capital reserve fund in the water enterprise fund.
Correct.
To account for the reserve fund.
Yes.
This is the first budget amendment of this fiscal year.
Yes,
Great job.
the only one.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion that we approve budget amendment number 1, ordinance number 2025-03 for fiscal year budget ending June 30th of 2025.
Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second. Tim, they won't have nothing to run.
Do we have discussion?
I got a question.
Question?
If this is our first budget amendment for this budget year, why is it numbered number 3? Whether there have been others drafted and not passed?
It's ordinance number 3, but it's amendment number 1. Ordinances run on a calendar year basis, whereas your amendments run on a fiscal year basis. You've had 2 ordinances this year, none of which were budget amendments.
Thank you for the clarification.
You're welcome.
Any further discussion? I'll call the vote. Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Mr. Landreth? Aye. Mr. Jones?
Aye.
And I am also aye. All right, let's not miss one here. Consideration of fence relocation request at elevated water storage tank. Mr. Foy, I believe you have this one.
Yeah, unfortunately, Hugh Creed and Associates is here to visit us tonight and kind of just go over at a high level what this request is. It's for the elementary school, but go ahead and turn the floor over to Evan. So, Mr. Creed, welcome.
Hello there. My name is Ethan Creed with Hugh Creed Associates. Address 304 South Tremont in Greensboro. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the council on a balanced budget. It's a true example of how a small town should be ran, and I hope your citizens realize how lucky they are to be in such an exemplary town. So, I guess I'm here for Guilford County Schools, as well as DOT is wanting to change the entrance and the student drop-off drive for Stokesdale Elementary. And there will be a double lane entrance coming in from the Athens Road side, which will be adding a third lane, I guess. And that third lane, in order to get a swale and stormwater coming through, we request that the town allows us to move the fence 10 feet back closer to the water tower. Part of that will also include redoing the gravel drive to that water tower. And the 10-foot relocation will be at the top of the swale, top of the grading line. So not much will change. We will be adding a 15-inch HDPE cross pipe where there's currently a 12-inch CMP. And other than that, we'll be extending the 18-inch current cross pipe that's going under Athens Road just to accommodate that new lane added. It is, if there are any questions, I'm glad to answer, but I believe it's pretty straightforward what we're looking to hopefully be able to do. Are there any questions?
Yes, sir. I got a number of questions, but I don't want to jump in front of anybody here. Okay. When you say you're going to move the fence, are you going to take up our fence components and reinstall them?
So I believe it will be, I'm not sure if it's a reinstallation of the existing fence or a new fence. I believe a new fence is very achievable if that's what you wish for.
Well, I would want to make sure that if we get new fence and it's of the same grade of components,
yes,
gauges, post sizes, all that, I wouldn't want us to downgrade our specs for our fence, not even by accident. So we got that. We're relatively certain that there's nothing in the way of drilling the new fence post holes. Has somebody done a locate out there?
An 811 is standard before any new construction will be done.
But it hadn't been done yet. Not by
we have an as-built of where the current water is coming out, I believe. But right now there are no, to our knowledge.
And the town of Stokesdale hasn't done one anyway, right? Guys, I called Gene Robertson with Yates Construction today and went back and forth with him about this. My idea, and he tends to agree with me, is to ask that a orange safety plastic construction fence be put up 20 foot inside of our existing fence before this fence is taken down. And the reason for that is to protect our infrastructure there. The post on the elevated tank, the valve covers that are there, the drain that drains the tank, and most importantly, there's an underground vault on the far side that has some very, very expensive valve and equipment in it and what have you. So, Mr. Creed, is this something that you can spec for us and get done?
Yes, sir.
You know,
Once this gets bidded out to Guilford County Schools, we can add that as,
You know, just some T-posts, I don't know, spaced
yes.
6-8 foot apart, you know, the orange plastic safety netting, so nobody on the job gets the idea that that's a good place to back a dump truck around and park it out of the way for a while, you know, that sort of thing.
Understood.
But because again, we have a very expensive installation there and can't afford to have it damaged. Plus, I don't know who would fix it, and you know, it could put our water customers out of service or in jeopardy if any damage occurred. So I just feel like it's worth the price of a, you know, a cheap safety fence.
You referenced Guilford County bidding out this project. I know they wanted to be done this summer. Have they started? Have they not started bidding it out yet?
Well, this is one of the components that need to get figured out before final designs, but also we need approval from NCDOT, and you know, there's.
List goes on. I got you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I gotta get going.
But this is one of the main things right now that we're focused on making sure that can be acquired. In case.
Okay, so, and one other question, and Mr. Winfrey, I want to be sure you understand my question. This is not changing the property boundaries for this little postage stamp we have our elevated tank on. It's just simply changing where the fence is at. We're not changing property corners for this property, right?
Correct.
Okay, just.
Any other questions, any other discussion?
I'm going to make a motion then to permit, as part of the Guilford County Schools traffic improvement project at Stokesdale Elementary School, that the town of Stokesdale permit Hugh Creed and Associates to move the fence 10 feet east.
That'd be 10 foot north, Mr. Foy.
We're north, okay. 10 feet north, and also to include the orange landscaping fence outlined by Council Member Tim Jones.
That would be north.
Yep. He's moving the fence in a northerly direction.
North it is.
I've been living here a long time. If I got it wrong, tell me.
I've been living here longer.
No.
Well, that doesn't mean you're not confused.
Well,
I'm confused every day, Mayor, but I'm pretty sure that the
Well, north,
opposite side from the gate is north.
north it is. It is.
Okay. Any, do I have a second?
Second.
I'll second the motion, and
I done
again,
seconded.
okay, excuse me. Then I'd like to clarify here that we're asking for the plastic orange safety fence to be installed 20 foot inside of the existing fence before they take the existing fence down. Is that okay, Mr. Foy?
Could they not just leave the fence up? And put they're gonna put, well, I guess I gotta never mind. I don't wanna get involved. Go.
Any issues with it, Mr.
No, I have no issues myself.
Okay.
And Mr. Creed, does that all make sense with you?
Yes.
All workable?
Yes.
Reasonable?
So the proposed swale is why it needs to get moved back, because it would
Okay.
be in the middle of where the existing fence is.
Okay, does 20 feet back from the existing fence get you enough room to work?
Yes, sir. It should.
Okay,
Well, but if you want to see our, plans, prior to start,
I just want to make
I'm sure
sure
I
we
would
don't
just
have
put in a 20-foot offset.
just want to make sure we don't have an expensive snafu.
All right.
Accept the amendment, all right. Any further discussion? Call the vote, Mr. Foy,
Am I?
Mr. Landreth.
Aye.
Mr. Jones,
I'm,
and I am aye. Thank you very much. Consideration of cost proposals for preparation of Ellisboro Road water line extension as built. Mr. Ford, do you have this?
I can speak to it if you like, Mr. Mayor,
Jones,
if that's okay with Mr.
feel
Ford.
free.
Okay, I've had a couple of conversations with Mr. Aaron Babson over this particular subject, and spoke to Mr. Wagner about it. And he couldn't be here tonight. By the way, it's him and his wife's anniversary, so we wouldn't expect him to cancel out on that just to come see us at a meeting here. We have been back and forth about what to do since we realized Kennerly didn't include our as-bills. And this has never happened down here at the town hall with water projects that I can recall. And I hope we're careful in the future so it doesn't happen again. The estimate that Hazen and Sawyer submitted is actually a cap. And what they want to make clear is they're offering to do this work for us basically with a time and material contract. They're not giving us a lump sum quote for these as-built. So these two proposals are different in that Kennerly is giving us a lump sum price for this work. One of the issues with Hazen and Sawyer doing the work is because, you know, they didn't design this project, although they did do some inspections there. They don't necessarily have all the CAD programming in place to be able to produce the as-built. And as such, that will cause them to have to do a lot of additional work that they wouldn't have to do had they done the engineering. And so it's sort of like a contractor having to follow behind another contractor that has abandoned a job or you know, gone bankrupt or that sort of thing. There's got to be a lot of soul searching and research, and they got to be very careful that they don't assume liability for something they don't know about. So, you know, it basically, I don't think is going to hurt Hazen and Sawyer's feelings if we hire Kennerly to do this at the end of the day. And so, with that said, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the proposal from Kennerly for $3,000 that is dated. Is there a date on this, Mr. Wagner?
It's like March 25th.
Oh, here we go. I can't see with glasses on or glasses off. March 25th, 2025. And again, for $3,000 for the as-built for the Ellisboro Road water main project. And by extension of my motion, I would like to ask for Mr. Winfrey to review this contract one more time to make sure we're in good shape and we're going to be done. We're not going to have to come back to this, that we got the as-built situation covered, since we've already kind of slipped up once here.
Okay.
That's my motion.
Second,
Discussion?
question of
Yes.
clarification. Do we have the markups for any changes that were done during construction?
We do.
Okay.
Okay. Any other discussion? Questions?
So, Mr. Jones, is the motion then that I review this, and then if it seems satisfactory, the mayor's authorized to sign this agreement?
Yeah, it would be my intent that once you release it, the mayor would be authorized to sign it.
Okay.
But I'm asking that you review it for, just, Lord, I'd hate for something to go wrong again with
And
it.
your second stands?
It does.
Okay, very good. I'll call for the vote. Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Mr. Landrith? Aye. Mr. Jones?
I am,
And I'm also aye. Consideration of enhancements to Stokesdale Town Park.
Mr. Mayor, that's my item. The committee has discussed making some improvements to the sign as you enter the park, the sign that reads Stokesdale Town Park at Martin's Meadow. That's the sign that was originally constructed with the park. It's probably closing in on its last days and could use a little sprucing up. Down the road, I would love for one of the scouts to take on a project of potentially, constructing a new sign, but just to refresh the existing sign that we have. I think Mr. T and committee have put together an economical solution that would work well for us. So this is a picture that I passed out of our current sign. And this is some aluminum signage that it would look like. That would be screwed on to each side of the sign. And we would also have some solar spotlights there at the bottom that would shine onto that. The cost breakdown to do the project would be a $374.50 charge based off sign and trophies out of Madison's quote for 2 3x5 aluminum signs. Then also an additional $54.37 for the solar-powered spotlights and some Rust-Oleum spray paint. So I would like to make a motion that we move forward with the sign upgrade, not to exceed $450, and using the ARPA money to pay that expense.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion.
Yeah, Mr. Foy,
Yes, sir.
but believe it or not, recently I went up in the woods and I cut the pine trees off the trail up there one afternoon when I was resting, and picked up some trash down at the park. And I had put a long-handled bus brush on my truck and a bucket with the intent of scrubbing this sign, and I realized I didn't have access to water because our water spigot's locked down there, and that's as far as I got. But the point being, has anybody tried, I agree the sign don't look so good, but has anybody tried to clean this thing? I know that it's been on my mind every time I pass by and look at it.
Great question, and yeah, before we move this forward, we did attempt to do that. Young Mr. Winfrey went out there with some cleaner, and we just didn't get very far.
As he cleaned it, the paint chipped off.
What kind of chemical did you put on it?
Mildew remover.
Did anybody use like 409 or Grease Lightning?
I don't know what brand it was.
409.
Yeah.
The 409 was the,
409 will leave a stain.
not Grease Lightning though.
Well, when we're talking about having to remediate the thing, is, we can't do any damage to it. I'm just saying I'll offer to clean it with, at my own expense with commonly used cleaning chemicals I keep for my work, and at no expense to the town. If you want to let me clean it and have another look at it next month, just something that it's funny because it had been on. I got the brush on the truck right now and was going to clean that thing.
So I have no doubt that you probably could do a good job and maybe better than we did. But you mentioned the 409, and that's what we used, the 409 mildew remover formula, and we didn't get very far.
And chip the paint. The paint's already chipped.
I could support the idea of sticking some solar-powered lights there some way, somehow or the other, easier than I can replacing the sign. It's just I'm just not sure we've got the full life out of it yet. But, it's not something to have an hour's worth of council discussion on, but I'd be glad to give it a shot cleaning it if council wants me to.
Well, thank you for that offer, but we have. We have, done that.
Any further discussion? I'm going to call for the vote. Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Mr. Landreth?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
I'm going to vote nay. It just looks like something I could get off of there, but I don't know. I'm going to vote nay.
And I am aye.
Just for clarification, Mr. Foy, what was the not to exceed amount of your motion?
$450.
50.
As laid out on the spreadsheet, it was $428.87. So
Correct.
giving us $21 to work with.
Sounds good.
Next item is consideration of Stokesdale Parks and Recreation usage of basketball courts at Stokesdale Town Park on I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Have I missed?
I've got one more item that would fall under this agenda.
Please add it.
Yeah, no, it's good. This is And it's all in our packet here. I wanted to also pass out some pictures here, and,
Is that the landscaping and fencing project?
sir?
Is that the landscaping and fencing project?
It is,
Okay.
yes. Make sure. So, bear with me, please. So for the last, call it a little bit over a year, since we've, have built the pickleball and basketball courts, a lot of folks, more and more folks are parking right there in front of the pickleball courts on the pickleball and basketball side of the road and also on the opposite side of the road. I remember it's probably been about a year ago, we were considering installing 15 diagonal parking spaces that were paved. While that may have been a good solution, the economics of that were, it was a lot. So, we've talked about other things. We talked about various kinds of fencing, landscaping, no parking signs, which never work. So the proposal I have for you tonight is a combination of fencing and landscaping. I think the best thing to do is capture the current state, what it looks like out there. So if you could advance to the second slide, Robbie. And so these pictures were taken on the 10th of June. And, it's great to see those basketball and pickleball courts used like they are. I think it's a great addition to our park. But as you can see, folks are parking there, by the numbers. Mr. T mentioned he counted 7 cars, I believe. That's a little bit more than 7. So that's from 2 nights ago. What it doesn't capture is the amount of erosion that we're seeing. Not initially erosion, but the grass will no longer grow there alongside the road, specifically on the pickleball and basketball side. So if we advance to the next slide, this is what the proposal I'm sharing with you would look like tonight. We would align that roadway with 250 linear feet of split rail fencing, kind of a colonial look that you see a lot if you go to Military Park and walk there in Greensboro, you'll see that kind of fencing there. It's a beautiful type of fencing. I noticed on the each exit on the Salem Parkway in Winston-Salem, Salis Creek, I was driving by that. They also have a landscaping and fencing, the split rail colonial looking fencing like that. So I think it would look great. So this picture was generated via AI. I do want to add what we're proposing. The fence would have 4 sections of the split rail fence, and then it would have a 15-foot gap, and then that's where the boulder and some shrubbery and pine needles would go. And then so there's, I believe, 5 sections of the fence that I'm speaking of, for a total of 250 linear feet of fencing and landscaping on each side of the road. So if we go back to the first slide, Robbie, and I apologize for not sending these to you in order. The first slide just captures what 250 feet would look like. If just by that line, the blue line on each side is 250 feet, and where it starts towards Angel Purdue is exactly where we staked it out and proposed that it starts. The fence itself would set back from the road 3 feet. And I do think it would go a long ways in addressing the parking situation, assuming that the direction is that we do not, want folks to park there. And 2, I think it would be a sharp-looking entry into the park. That is obviously a very well-traveled part of the park, and I think it would look. I think it would look really, really sharp and solve the problem we're trying to solve. Credit to Tim for that statement.
Yeah. Well, I got some questions, Mr. Foy. First of all, I'd like to say it always is entertaining to me that when folks go to the gym, they do their best to park right at the front door instead of just parking in the parking lot and walking in to exercise. So we got the same thing going on with the pickleball basketball court. But I have noticed at times the parking lot down at the park will be fairly full, and folks will be parked on the side of the road here as well. I'm not, somebody that's laid this out, photoshopped this in, but there's a curvature to the road and the ditch. Is that being taken into account here to get the fence leveled up so it doesn't look like it's gonna fall over into the ditch?
It is, and the vendor that we're proposing tonight has come on site to look at.
Okay, just kinda, I could just see where it might wind up looking like it was leaning substantially because of that drainage into the ditch. This is a hard sell for me, because I feel like that $14,000 might be better applied towards providing more parking some way, somehow. It's hard for me because the Park Improvement Committee works on these things for an extended period of time, and then all of a sudden they're in front of me, and I, hadn't really had a lot of time to digest this. I agree, it looks very nice. Are there going to be some openings in this fence for people that might want to cross from one side of the park to the other, or is it continuous for the entire length?
Yes, sir. So the feature itself will be 250 linear feet, but it's not continuous 250 linear feet of fencing. They will be in about 38-foot sections.
Okay, so how?
And then you will have a 15-foot gap between each section.
Okay, but why not 14? Why not 16? There's something significant about the 15? Just proportionality?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other part of it, just that kind of goes back to my time farming in the area. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around hauling rock into a property as hard as we used to work hauling rock off of fields and what have you around here.
Right.
So
Pay for it.
Yeah, no,
and buying them too.
it's a good point. It's decorative rock, part of the landscaping project.
Well, I don't
Also,
know.
a bigger discouragement, stay off of the landscaped area.
Yeah. The other thing is, have we given some thought to how much this is going to cost to maintain mulch on each side, or weed eating on each side, spraying on each side? It's a pretty simple fix for the landscaper to maintain now.
So, as part of the landscaping project, there would be a textile barrier, landscaping fabric installed, but we'll also treat it and spray the area for weeds beyond that. But, despite all that, you and I both know that weeds find a way to grow up. So, to come through, even the most difficult of barriers, they can come through concrete. So certainly as part of our, maintenance contract, we would want that to be addressed, just like we do today for all of our properties. I don't see an exorbitant cost in continuous upkeep with this. I would say we have much greater natural areas with mulch that, I don't think we bought any mulch since, in 4 or 5 years. I think that was well taken care of before I got around. But yeah, certainly there will be a cost from time to time. I would offer, that fencing should last, years and years. So when you divide that total cost of the fence by...
The other thing, I don't know how I'm going to vote on this yet, and if I vote against it, it's not because I don't think it's a good project. It'd just be out of concerns about the money, the maintenance costs going forward, and still no additional parking. But with that said, just also keep in mind everything we plant around here, we have a hard time getting it to live. And so if this is done, it might be best to do it in the fall. I don't know whatever's best for this particular plant, but I'm just saying we've had a lot of trouble getting stuff to live on this property.
So that discussion has been had with Excellence Lawn Care as part of their proposal that the landscaping, the plants would not be done until the fall.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you for that.
Mr. T, you had a comment or something to add? Would you step up to the podium, please?
I'm sorry, I was just going to point that out, that we did discuss delaying the planting of the roses until the fall, so it would be more of a dormant area. And also the information there, the plants that we picked are low growing, so they don't need pruning. They're very hardy, they're sun tolerant, and drought resistant. So we did put some thought into what type of plant would go well there.
Yeah, and I agree, it looks great, but so did the initial plan for this property, and we've struggled.
Sure.
Well, I think we have beautiful landscaping on this property. That is done pretty well. I mean, we got some areas to work on, no doubt.
And the other thing that I was going
That's
to add
another
too with regard to the
I'm
trimming
good.
and stuff is that that's why we wanted to go with the pine straw underneath so that there wouldn't be trimming around the fence itself. It would just be on the outlying areas. So that's.
You know, I mean,
Thank you.
it's
Chief.
something I failed to mention, you know. And as far as, you know, traffic control and safety, the fencing would deter, you know, children, you know, from, or pedestrians from, keep them away from what could be a busy roadway and unsuspected drivers, you know, and set some boundaries for the park and make it easier for visitors that don't come here too often to go ahead and guide them back into that parking lot so that they can walk the 75 yards to play basketball. Actually, this parking lot up here is very rarely used by our park visitors, but it's actually closer of a walk.
It's not that far, it certainly, yeah. Maybe they don't realize they can park up here, but back to your point about safety, Mr. Foy, I'll mention this. Having taken little kids to the park many times, you're gonna have those 15-foot sections, you're gonna have a driver either going into the park or coming away from the park. If you got a little kid that's, you know, relatively short, 3 years old, they could be in that gap between that fence and dart out without a lot of notice because they're gonna be partially concealed behind these landscape features. So just saying.
Right. Yeah, I mean, nothing's 100% foolproof. I mean, that's for sure, and I think that's a good point. But you know, I think having something, you know, I don't want to dwell on safety that much. I think it's a safety improvement, but it's not a 100% surefire solution, you know, for that. You know, I think it would. I think it would be more likely to deter, you know, an animal, a dog running out than a child.
No, I'm not saying it's going to deter a child. I'm saying that this landscape feature, when it's put in, is going to tend to obstruct the vision of a driver coming from one end to the other of our park access road, such that they won't see that child as quickly as they might otherwise. The same thing applies when we have these cars parked here and a child would come out between the cars.
That's what I was going to offer.
It's the exact same thing.
That's right. And, you know, if we were to construct parking spots there, I think that's a concern we discussed. You know, it's been about a year since we were on the parking spot project, but yeah, I mean,
you know, we could.
Time you gather, you know, at a park or anywhere, you know, the public together, you try to do the best you can from a safety perspective, but there's no surefire 100% fail-proof solution.
You know, to state the obvious, this could be done with a row of bollards, either connected with cable or not, probably cheaper.
Much cheaper. Much cheaper.
Barrels up there too.
Can we paint them?
Yeah.
Let me ask you something.
Yes, sir.
This is pretty nice. You know, spending money bothers me anywhere when we're not doing it for property rights or something like that, but this is really nice and we do things like that. So, this lane is not named now. This road doesn't have to the park, doesn't really have a name, does it?
No, sir. Not that I know of.
You know, when we purchased our property, part of our agreement was that we were gonna name something for the Joyces.
Yeah, I do recall
think this
that.
may be a good opportunity. This is nice.
Yeah.
If this was for one of my loved ones and I was doing something, I think I'd be proud to have have a name on it or something. And this don't have anything to do with us doing this. I'm just saying if we did this is nice. That might be, maybe we could name the road and fulfill our obligation. I don't know what to call it. You wouldn't want me to name it.
Yeah. Well, I'm game with that. We can do that right,
Well,
right
I wouldn't
now.
want to do it like now. I mean, it's nothing but a piece of asphalt. I mean, if you did something like this, you spend that kind of money. I think this would be a good opportunity to kill two birds with one stone, if we did that.
Sure. Mr. Foy, is this money gonna be coming out of grant funds that we've been entrusted with by the state or the county?
It would be. The grant funds are now part of our general fund, but we do track that. We have a tracking spreadsheet. It's in our packets. And those monies are, with all the projects we've done.
Sometimes referred to as free money. I don't like using that term, but just
well,
for clarification's sake here, is that the intent for these funds to come out of grant funds?
yes.
Is this project eligible?
Yes, it is.
It is.
Well, I'm telling you, if it wasn't coming out of it, I wouldn't be voting for it, but it is, and that's what we put that money back for, is improvements. You can only do so much more to Park.
Yeah, well, and,
make it look good.
we, as a committee, we've talked about, we are close to exhausting, the grant funds that were awarded to us several years ago. I think we spent that money wisely and stretched it out, pretty good. The use of the park has just gone up tremendously.
Well, maybe this isn't the time to have this conversation, but is there some follow-on plan to provide additional parking? Did anybody see this property the other Friday when the Northwest folks were here?
That was certainly an anomaly, and that was the senior class coming over and having a good time.
I called Mr. Wagner because I thought we were having one of those flash mobs they talk about on the TV news. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, no, that was an eventful day at the park for sure. But yeah.
So, again.
Your question was, have we discussed additional parking?
Yeah, because.
And I want to answer that. Early on in the committee's existence, I should say, we did discuss additional parking when we were discussing constructing an amphitheater. The amphitheater lost momentum, and with that, we didn't, the additional parking lost that. But and I hear you, that back parking lot does fill up from time to time, especially on Saturday game days. But, we still got a tremendous amount of parking up front, especially in the evening hours, that's not utilized.
Yeah, we do, and I'm just asking myself, we've put up lights in the park. How does that figure into our parking situation? That can't necessarily improve it. It's bound to get worse, I would think. But I just know frequently I kind of ride down there, and the parking lot will be, it looked like it's like 80% full a lot of the time. I mean, there's just not a lot of spaces left. Just all of a sudden, like at 4:15 or something, 5:15, everybody rolls in. And so, we're going to have a hard time getting people to want to walk. Of course, if they're here for exercise, I understand, but we're going to have a hard time getting people to walk from this town hall parking lot all the way down there to the park for an event or what have you. We might be putting upon old folks and handicap a little more. I know we got handicap spaces, but just wanted to ask.
And again, about a year ago, we did, I think we even got 2 bids for it. We did look at additional parking. I believe the number was 15 additional parking spots that would be diagonal along the roadway on the opposite side of the basketball and pickleball court.
Okay. Has Excellence Lawn Care agreed not to increase what they're charging us until the next contract renewal in consideration of this improvement? I noticed that they are providing a quote here.
So they provided the quote with the understanding that the landscaping wouldn't be done until the fall. If for some reason the economics changed and they needed to increase the price, it would need to come back to this body if the price today was approved.
Yep, what I wanted to hear is that they've told you that this won't increase our yearly contract with them. Are we in a 2-year contract now? I don't even remember. We just
I think
voted
we're
on
in
it.
a 3. And this is independent of the contract.
I understand, but so long as they don't come back soon as this is in and say we want an additional $500 a month because we now have to tend to additional landscape, I could understand them asking for more money, but I'm just trying to take this into consideration when I'm trying to figure out how to vote here.
I don't think that would be the case. They have not come to us with more money about the number of weeds that grow in our flower beds and around the Christmas tree, but they've expressed concern or recommended that we install more mulch to help control that. But right now they're using more spray to help control that, but they have not asked for more money for that. And $500 for a few weeds is, I mean, that's $6,000 a year. I don't think they would do that.
That's a lot of weeds.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, I just know that's a lot of mowing around a zigzag fence that somebody's going to have to do someday. One other thing I note here that
it's
a notation
straw,
about the
pine
ability.
straw.
Excuse me?
Mowing, I just want to say it is pine straw that we'll have there, so they won't be mowing around the zigzag fence.
But what about on the backside? Are we going to put pine needles deep enough there to control the vegetation? I mean, you realize that's a bed like yay deep, 250 foot long each side of the road to maintain and keep. Otherwise, we got to do one or the other. It'll have to be kept mulched, sprayed, or mowed.
Or pine straw, what it's doing today. I'm sure we'll have to install new pine straw from time to time if we want it, to look good. If we don't,
What he's asking for sure, as I understand it, the picture just doesn't depict the pine straw on the what I consider the
on the ditch side,
away from the road side. It doesn't show it, but you're saying that it would be there.
Yes.
That was part of
it would be
that
there.
was part of
And the
plan.
picture was just, it's a visual. I mean, we're
I understand.
80% there with the picture.
I understand.
With the help of Robbie's smart brain and AI that we were able to get with this picture, but it's not an exact, and I want to point that out. But it certainly captures what it would look like, in my opinion.
If I can intervene, I believe it's, and T, correct me if I'm wrong, it's 10 feet wide. A fence is going to sit in the middle of that 10 feet, and there will be pine straw on both sides of that fence. So it will essentially be a straight line on both sides. If anything, it's less yard to mow than it was. They're now losing 10 feet of yard, 250 feet long on both sides that they will no longer be mowing. They'll just mow a straight line along those pine straw barriers.
Yeah, I got it, but I just wanted to make it clear to council that this council member believes that this is going to increase our yearly maintenance costs because it's got to. We're adding 500 foot of planting bed essentially.
It could, but again, we've got a lot of flower beds out there today that we're not spending an exorbitant amount of maintenance cost on those. We spent $0 on them in the last 4 years. So, down the road, certainly, yeah, we will probably need to refresh the pine straw.
Well, if I vote for this and I remain undecided, it will be because of my colleague and friend, Mr. Lander's point that we're having the ability to use grant funding for it. Not that, don't like that. But this is, again, it's hard for me to swallow with when we don't have any sales tax money. We have, no opportunity for income. We're not increasing park fees. If we keep adding features to the park and increasing maintenance, we have to face up to the fact that that's going to have to mean a higher outlay for park maintenance. It has to.
Yeah, I mean, park maintenance in the future is going to cost more than it does today. That'll be a fact if we do this or if we don't do this.
I'll use my crystal ball and make a prediction that we're gonna get an increase because of this and the next time that contract renewal rolls around.
Well, at least we're locked in for 3 years, Robbie?
That is correct.
Okay. Just as long as we don't immediately, as soon as we put it in, get a request from our landscaper that, hey, you know, we're having to do additional work now, that we want X amount.
We have a long-standing relationship with our landscaper. I don't see that happening based off what I know.
But the question hasn't been asked.
And the question would be, do you think in the future your price would go up?
Yeah. When this is installed, are you going to want an increase?
I would imagine his answer would say, well, it depends on what you want me to do with it.
Well, all right, I'll let that go, but there's one other thing here. It mentions that this equipment may not pick up these boulders. Is there a cap here about what'll be done if that occurs? Other arrangements will be made at whose expense, the town's or his?
No, I would say,
I think that should be on the contractor to place these boulders, period.
the boulders that we're looking at should be around a half ton, and he doesn't think he'd have an issue in the world with a half ton, but he's only got one piece of equipment, and I think he wants to, put that in there.
I have bid many jobs, and generally I can't get away with this kind of thing. I have to either put in an amount that will take care of the job, or I have to put in a unit cost in the event that what I'm proposing doesn't work, so that the customer knows how much they're spending. So I'm asking, what is the plan,
Tim?
If he can't move them?
Tim, I've also, got a little bit of experience of my own with contracts, and, I've seen a lot of verbiage about, if you strike rock or something, then there's going to be, an additional cost. I think he's just acknowledging that if the machine, that is not able to move these rocks, then we'll look at plan B. But at the same time, he's also said he shouldn't have an issue with his tractor doing that. But I think he's just, covering his bases.
He's not covering that cost. That cost will be on us. That's the way I read it.
So the rock would be delivered here.
Yeah.
And he's charging us $500 to move 8 boulders. I think if we have to get somebody else, we would be covered.
Okay, well, presumably this is not his proposal contract. It hasn't been reduced to contract form. So maybe he intends to further define that if we vote for this, right? This is not a...
Well, he has given us a proposal. This is a summary sheet that we're looking at here, but he's given us a proposal.
Is it in here? Am I just missing it?
You are.
Okay, I know I went through there page by page today. I don't want to burn up a bunch of council time. If y'all have seen it and read it and satisfied with it, then I won't. I'll read it later.
It's after the image of the fencing, so it's 3 pages behind what you're looking at there. If it's still in the same order that it started as.
We're gonna put those speed bumps in here somewhere,
Yeah, there's not in here, but those need to go in.
maybe at each end.
I think Robbie's just looking for direction.
I'm looking for somebody with a drill and a strong back.
Well, there again, we don't wanna do it now until we get these rocks in. Did you say it was $500 to move these things?
$500 to move 8 boulders.
So if he can't move them, we can use that $500 to get something to move them? Or
Somebody, that's what I'm saying. I think we could come pretty close to finding
we don't
somebody
have
else
to,
for $500.
we won't have to worry. I mean, I can get something in here to move those boulders if he can't do it.
Yeah.
If it's a quick, just get them moved.
Mr. Lander's volunteering to help solve our problem, should that occur.
Yeah.
I think that's what I hear, right?
Yeah, as long as I've got a little bit of
All right.
notice.
Is this the last large park improvement project I might be asked to vote for between now and December?
Well,
We
by
got
that,
more money.
large means money, right? The money's
Well,
We'll be down to roughly $7,000 or $8,000 off that.
I consider 14,000, I guess, in terms of municipal parks, maybe I should use the word medium, but are there any other medium or large projects in the pipeline?
No, not that the committee is working on.
We really need to, you know, we got that 7,000, so we kinda need to let that lay, after this
Yeah.
project.
Well-
So we have it for maintenance or something if we need it. It'd be nice to have just a little cushion. Yours is right. You know,
And we talked about the bathroom floors. I think that's a great project.
yeah. Well,
There are several things,
There are.
but they're minor, they are small. Much
who
smaller
knows, we
than
might
this.
have something coming in here for,
Yeah. You guys have any further questions? I do appreciate the dialogue on this.
Do we have a motion?
Yes. Got three motions.
All right,
The first motion is to accept the proposal from Atlas Fence Company dated June the 5th of '25 in the amount of $8,985 for split rail, for the split rail fencing installation along the entryway to Town Park. The proposed approval date for the work to begin after July 1st, 2025. And that date, 18 days out, I say that to get it, this should be in next fiscal year budget. And that money would come from the park improvement to the general, and the general fund to the ARPA grant.
do I have a second?
you got it.
Got a second. Is there any additional discussion on that? I'll call for the vote. Mr. Foy?
Aye?
Mr. Landrith?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
I'm,
And I am I.
All right, so that's the first of three motions I have. The second motion is make a motion to accept the proposal dated May 21st from the Stone Center of Greensboro to deliver no more than 8 tons of Shawnee Fieldstone boulders to Stokesdale Town Park. Amount of I'm going to put a not to exceed here, not to exceed $2,015.23.
Do I have a second?
And guys, this is 8 tons. We're going to get lower than that. It'll probably be about half that, but we went on the high end.
I'll second, when they deliver, are they gonna be able to get them off a truck? Or do they have a mule or something?
Oh yeah, they'll be able to get them off the truck, but they won't be able to place them where we want them, and that's where.
Right, okay,
That's where
so in other words,
excellence will
you don't have to have a piece of equipment sitting there that day for that. That's all
Right.
okay.
Right.
And then they'll be able to figure out whether they can do it or not, and if they can, then we'll get something else in here to do it.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Call for the vote. Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Mr. Landrith?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
I am I.
And I am also I. Third item? Foy?
I make a motion to accept the proposal from Excellence Lawn Care and Landscaping dated June 2nd, 2025 for pine needle landscape fabric and the purchase, delivery, and planting of 20 coral drift rose bushes in the amount of $3,400.
Not to exceed?
Nah, that's the quote.
Okay.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. Discussion?
I'd like to, if I vote for this, I'd like to add the stipulation that this contractor is not authorized to do anything other than notify us that, hey, the rock are too heavy. We need another plan, rather than him hiring someone, hiring a crane, hiring a third-party vendor.
So, in the event that his tractor is not able to move the tons, he is not permitted to subcontract the work?
Not
At
without,
his expense?
he can do it at his expense. I'm just saying I don't want to get a surprise bill for, $2,000.
Yeah, in a surprise bill for $2,000, we wouldn't pay because we haven't approved that.
Yeah.
But, so I definitely would accept, that amendment.
Well, obviously, the problem can be solved by calling the rental store, getting them to deliver a piece of equipment and pay the daily rental and pay the delivery and the pickup, but I don't know what that might run.
Right, and should we have that problem, then we'll need to work on trying to solve that.
Wait a minute, haven't we already voted on that?
I don't want to try to solve a problem we don't have yet.
And I will,
He believes, that's another thing, he believes that his tractor would do it. I mean, as long as the boulders are about a half ton, which we know they're gonna be,
And I'll just add that the proposal itself does mention that other arrangements will need to be discussed. That's what's written in his proposal in the
Yeah,
event.
I've read it, Mr. Wagner, I got it, I'm just trying, I don't wanna see a surprise here where, oh, by the way, things went wrong, here's this,
So you would like for him to discuss it
$1,400
with us
bill.
if he can't do it?
yeah, when perhaps if he'd have let us know that Mr. Landorf would have had time to help the town like he's offering to do. For long as it's the town's money being spent, I wanna have some, latitude to carry out the duties of my office and supervise the expenditure of the money reasonably.
Right, I feel confident that should he have any issues with the boulder, that he would stop his work and notify us. And, we would begin putting together Plan B.
Okay, at least that's the feeling of everybody that has directly consulted with this gentleman over this particular project. See, I haven't had that, been involved in those conversations, I don't know.
I understand, and
Well, if
that's
it-
okay.
If he does
Do you have
anything, well,
questions?
if he does anything, we're just not gonna pay him.
Well,
I mean, if he does something he's not
we
supposed to
can't
do,
pay,
we're just not gonna
we
pay
can't
him.
pay him more than we approve.
Yeah.
We've had it happen out with park funds before.
Well, this is a
Well-
different administration too. I don't think you're gonna have to worry about that, Mr. Jones.
Yeah. I hear you.
Kimberly, we hold your
Tim's got
finger.
good points.
Kimberly, we hold your fingers to the fire, you know that. Okay.
He'll be the first
All right.
one to kick out that.
I've got a motion, I got a second, is that correct?
Guys, I'm stretching voting for this, so, I appreciate you fielding my questions.
No, it's okay, and I
Wait a
hope
minute.
I've been able to at least halfway adequately answer them, but your concerns are well taken, and,
And worthwhile.
Wait a minute, what are we voting on? We voting on roses or rocks?
We're voting on the Excellence Lawn Care.
we're voting on,
$3,400.
we're voting on roses and pine straw.
And what?
Roses, pine straw, landscape fabric, and spraying for weeds.
Okay, we're not voting on rocks now.
We've already voted for rocks.
That's what I
Now,
thought.
now, excuse me, we are voting for him to move the
Move,
rocks.
okay.
That's part of
okay,
that too.
Okay, all right.
But to confirm, we're voting for Excellence Lawn Care's proposal dated June the 2nd, 2025.
Yes, sir.
$3,400, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And we have the motion. Mr. Landrith, I believe, seconded the motion.
I did.
Okay. I'll call for the vote. Mr. Foy,
Am I?
Mr. Landrith,
Aye.
and Mr. Jones.
I am I.
I am also aye. The next item is consideration of a Pepsi 20-ounce vendor placed at the Stokesdale Town Park. I'm sorry, Mr. Foy, did that cover your improvement?
It did. Thank you, sir.
I apologize.
Question,
Yes.
who's putting this in?
Pepsi Cola.
We gonna
I'll-
get the money
this-
off of it.
Yeah, just hold on, Will.
Oh, okay, you got a presentation.
Well,
I'm sorry. I jumped
that's
out in front of
okay.
you.
My name's here, and
You go ahead.
I
Go
can
ahead.
explain it. I've been the point person on this particular item.
Go right ahead.
I have spoken with Pepsi. They're more than willing to do this. What we're looking at is a 20% commission. It could be more. 20% commission is a minimum, as it was explained to me. There is no contract. If we decided 2 days after they put it in, we want it out, they are to come get it. They will service the vendor all themselves. We have no involvement. We don't collect monies. They will provide us with a quarterly check, which will be made, we can have it made out, my suggestion would be we have it made out, of course, to the town, maybe even the park. And it would be part of the revenue for that. Is it going to be a great deal of money? Probably not. I would just simply hope that it would cover the refrigeration. Kim, you have a question?
I don't think it's a question, it just is a point. I do believe that we skipped item 13. I just didn't want you to get too
We'll
far in
come
the
back.
weeds.
We'll come back. Let's
You're
roll.
good with coming back?
Sorry. Yes, you did. I will.
Oh,
I'm
good.
sorry.
Keep going, buddy. You're on a
I'm just
roll.
getting anxious.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Okay. I believe that's, in a nutshell, I believe that is it. My goal would be that it at least cover whatever electricity is involved. I spoke to them about that. My experience has been that these compressors are about $300 a year as far as electrical fees. He said with modern improvements, they're not nearly so high. So we're looking at hopefully around $200 a year for the compressor itself to keep the product cold. There will be, I'm not sure the number of selections, but they would include, of course, the top flavors for the Pepsi-Cola company. If you remember, we had a Coca-Cola machine there from a previous administration, and we never received anything from that. But this would be I'll say this too, this will be a $2 vend machine. It's not so much an economical thing, it's a matter of convenience for anyone that happens to be at the park and wants a soda pop or water. I think it would be in water. We probably have some discretion in the selection, but to be honest with you, they're much better at choosing what they sell than our choosing something we really like.
Could we specify that one of the selections be water or something, you know,
Yes,
for
yes.
those that are very health conscious, it seems like we ought to try at least
Yes.
ask for something that would
I don't think anybody's too
satisfy them.
health conscious if they're gonna sell Coca-Colas or Pepsi.
Again, Mr. Mayor, let me restate my request. I'd like to make sure that one of these selections
Yes.
is water for those that don't like the other options, then considering that.
I
you know,
discussed
just
that
to
with
help us.
them, and yes, it was.
Okay.
It would be an item that would be included. For one thing, it's a no-cost item for them, which, you know, makes it almost completely 100% profit. But the other thing is, this will have a card reader on it. So it's not a matter of having to have the change. It has a card reader. All they're going to do is take advantage of our Wi-Fi, whatever we have. As a matter of fact, I don't even think they need our Wi-Fi. I think theirs communicates on its own.
Well, Mr. Mayor, if we could back up, I'm not voting for this if we have to provide them with Wi-Fi right at the moment, because we have some technical problems.
We do not. This is something.
Okay.
I'm familiar with vending machines that use card readers, and the card reader is connected separate from any.
They use a cell phone system?
Yes.
Okay.
Separate from any satellite or any internet connection that might be at the facility.
All right. Will this accept normal coins and dollar bills as well?
Yes, it'll take cash as well. Yes.
Okay. I didn't know for sure.
Yeah, it'll take cash and cards.
I'm just presuming here that this thing will have some 1-800 call us number if you get, you know, this machine robs you.
They do have it on the front. If the council will give me the authority to, I'll be the contact person as long as I'm in office for the equipment. And should I not be in office, I will turn it over to someone who will.
I just don't want to pay town staff to deal with it.
No,
you know,
no. I'll be more than happy if they need a contact person. But this should be painless for us. If it generates any revenue, it should be.
And I heard you say it could be removed at any time upon our request, right?
There is no contract. I made that clear.
So there's no contract coming. You're just going to call them and say we're good to go, and they're going to pop a machine in.
I've got the gentleman's name who handles this. He was ready to put it in the day that I spoke with him. He was ready to place the order for it.
That seems like they want a property owner to sign, you know, agreeing that, okay, you can put it here. Are you sure?
I am positive.
Mr. Winfrey, we okay with this operation?
4 or 5 years now, they'd be
Well,
saying.
it sounds like if nothing's in writing, then it's terminable at will by either side. So when I guess the mayor says there's no contract, I guess he's really saying that it can be terminated by either side.
There was no contract with the Coca-Cola machine either.
I believe that's what they told him. I believe that.
Right. Yeah.
And
So if we don't sign anything, then they don't have a contract. I haven't seen anything that they.
I first offered, what I wanted to do is I wanted us to handle the vending of it. I wanted us to reap the benefit from it, but they don't do that anymore on vending machines, not for a location like ours.
Well, guys, if there's no contract, then how can we hold their feet to the fire, so to speak, to make sure they're giving us our cut, quote unquote?
Trust in the Lord.
Just asking.
Trust in the Lord. You're talking about Pepsi-Cola. I mean, they're gonna have their way with a Stokesdale, North Carolina, for what? I don't know how much revenue it might generate. I mean, You could generate quite a bit in the summertime.
You know, Mr. Mayor, I recognize that you've had quite a bit of experience with these things, so I'll defer to your judgment about the matter, just asking.
Well, it's a worthwhile question. I don't anticipate any of that. We will be able to monitor what they're doing. They're not going to provide us with an invoice, but I can clarify with them that we would know the day they come by to load it. I'm sure there's a designated person that does that kind of thing because, again, they're the ones that are collecting whatever cash is out of it and reloading the vending machine. And I'll have the contact person for that, so in case we're running out of product, which would be a nice thing, if it's that busy.
One thing I would offer, with the park getting just a tremendous amount of use, I mean, it also, money aside, it also gives our citizens a way to get water or a drink of their choosing. Our water fountain does not work, so.
Absolutely, I agree.
Its operation seriously diminished for sure. Mr. Winfrey, are we okay not having an agreement? We're putting it there, we're incurring a cost. If we don't get enough money back to pay the power bill, we're in effect subsidizing the operation of the Pepsi-Cola company.
That's when you pick up the phone and you ask them to come pick it up, if that's agreed to by the council, and they come pick it up. Unlike the battle that we've, unlike the battle.
Drink.
Say again?
You're gonna you get 20% of the gross?
No. There'll be 20% of, I don't have the exact calculation, but basically basically 20% of whatever the sales are.
If they sell a drink for $2, we're gonna get 40 cents. That's 20%.
20%.
Okay, I figured you'd sell 100 drinks if it's gonna run the light bill up. $25, $30, $40.
$200
That's 3 drinks a day.
$200 per month is what they're claiming right now these compressors take as far as electricity.
No, really?
Whoa.
$200 a month?
No, year is what you said, right? 200 a year?
No. Oh, I'm sorry, yes, I'm thinking $300 a year. It's $200, yes, correct. $200 a year. Yes, that's correct.
I'm assuming that they would give some kind of accounting and say, we sold X number of drinks, we sold, and then.
They should do that in the check that we receive.
Some kind of accounting, I'm assuming.
This amount is based on these sales.
We're gonna be able to pay.
And we can make the judgment from that. I mean, if we're not getting enough revenue to pay for the electricity, which is the problem we had with the Coke machine, we weren't getting anything at all, then we have it pulled.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. It just surprises me they don't ask for any contract.
It surprised me too. But no, again, it's basically they're paying us 20% rent for the space is basically what it boils down to.
And to clarify, $200 a month
That was just a misspeak. The $200 should be $200 a year, basically. It's what that's what I'm told. The compressor should cost us to operate. My experience has been $300 to $1,000 a year, depending on what the compressor is. I'd like to make a motion that we do this and that I'll take the lead on making sure it is placed where it is most convenient. I would also suggest at the time that I have it done that I have access to the plug that can simply unplug the device and stop the use of it at that point.
Mayor, I'll second your motion. My second goes away if there's any contract that pops up that we can't cancel.
I have a motion and I have a second. Discussion. Call for the vote. Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Mr. Landreth?
No.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
And I am aye. Okay, I'll call them in the morning and see what we can get going. They will have to order it. Let's back up to item number 13, consideration of Stokesdale Parks and Recreation usage of basketball courts at Stokesdale Town Park on Saturday, June 28th, 2025. Mr. Foy?
Yeah, so this is an event that's already happening. the Parks and Rec is putting together their first annual three-on-three basketball tournament on Saturday, June 28th. They'll have 4 different age groups, rising 5th and 6th graders, a boys and girls division, middle school, high school, and adults 18 plus years old, both men's and women's offerings. Each team is guaranteed 2 games. So this is there will be live DJs and concessions. So a great event for that organization, and they'll be there using the basketball courts all day long. I guess what I would ask for, because the basketball courts aren't on the rental fee to be able to rent them as an organization, I would just like to see the town endorse this event and send a letter to the Parks and Rec president authorizing the use of the courts in case they have any kind of trouble. They can just say that the town has authorized this event. And again, it captures a wide range of wide age range, and it has been very well received by Stokesdale citizens.
Okay.
The president of the association did approach me, wanting to know how much it would cost to rent, and I just said, well, we don't rent these out, but they will be here doing it. So that's that. I'm going to end up after the discussion. I will make a motion to move that forward. But do you have any questions, guys?
Are you making a motion?
He will
Eventually.
after discussion.
Well,
Do you have any discussion?
Well, I was going to second his motion. I thought he was.
All right,
making
I'll make a motion that the town of Stokesdale authorize Stokesdale Parks and Recreation to use the basketball courts during the full daylight hours on Saturday, June 28th for their 3-on-3 basketball tournament.
Okay, I'll second your motion, Mr. Floyd, provided that the understanding is that the council is doing this because it's in our belief there, we are providing, this is in the public interest to provide a recreational opportunity for all our citizens.
Well said.
And second, I would like to add to it that we require the town staff to go down and put some sort of notice there at least 3 days ahead of time that Parks and Rec will be using it that day. Maybe even a week would be better.
All right.
Where it's clear and readable at the gate, so nobody shows up and surprised that they can't use it.
Okay, I'll accept those 2 provisions and my motion.
I have a motion and a second. I have a question. There's no gainful, this is not a for-profit operation. This is strictly open to the public, free of charge.
The $50 entry fee will cover their shirt, and then they have prizes for each. They're going to have a DJ, a food truck, so they're covering their cost with the entry fee. But they're a nonprofit, so they're not necessarily making profits. But I like where your head's at on having that concern, because that is not our intent to have to use that out.
They're not charging the audience, is what I'm asking, I guess. They're not charging the audience for.
Yeah, if you wanted to go sign up for this tournament, because they do have an adult, 18 plus.
No, I said audience. I didn't say participant.
Oh, the audience.
Oh,
No, sir.
come on now.
I'll cover his entry fee, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yep.
No. So, Mike, if you wanted to go watch, they're not gonna
Exactly.
have their hands out.
Exactly.
They don't even charge admission for when they have regular
understand.
season games at the
Yeah.
school gym. So,
Well,
Mr. Wagner, if we noted that Mr. Rigsby has arrived about 8:55 p.m. for the record.
yes, sir.
Good to see you, Mr. Rigsby.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for showing, buddy.
okay, so we got, I'm sorry, more discussion?
Well, I'd just like to point out, if we do this one time, we'll need to be prepared to do it again for that organization and as well as any others, I would think. So just thought I'd mention it.
Yeah, and I hear you, and maybe so, maybe not.
We can
I-
always
Is-
do what we do.
Yeah,
Is-
I don't think this binds us to any future decision. I
Yeah.
think it's an independent review of the exact activity for that day. So, I don't think it's a blanket approval for them in the future or for anybody else in the future.
Are you suggesting that I sign this, letter of invite or authorization?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Mr. Rigsby, are you up to date with us?
I am. I read it before I got here.
All right, sir. I'm calling for the vote. Mr. Rigsby.
Aye.
Mr. Foy.
Aye.
Mr. Landreth.
Aye.
Mr. Jones.
I'm aye.
And I am also aye. Mr. Rigsby, we've dropped the consideration of restroom sink faucet. That's item number 15. I say dropped it, we're gonna move it out to July. Item number 16, discussion of Town of Stokesdale Development Ordinance. Mr. Foy.
Oh, boy.
About 14, Mr. Mayor.
We already got that one.
I'm sorry, yes,
We-
we voted for that.
We're all over
We,
the
we
place
got
here.
out of order a while ago, and we've already voted on it.
Okay.
Jim's here and he's gonna keep us in order for
He,
here on
he
out.
didn't mention,
I appreciate it.
Didn't
I
mention
can't
that
seem
one.
to,
Yeah.
I can't seem to manage it.
if I don't do nothing else tonight, I'm gonna talk about a vending machine and profits and kilowatts.
We've already talked about it for 30
Too
minutes.
late.
We took care of that for you,
We'll
buddy.
probably
It was-
be back in the
Get here
paper.
earlier.
We'll probably be back in the paper about it if they had one.
Okay.
Where are we? Oh, the development ordinance, yeah.
Number 16.
So guys, we know we need to update our development ordinance to be in full compliance of 160D. The Piedmont Triad, PTRC, has done a gap analysis and done a good job of identifying what needs to be done. I believe Mr. Winfrey has looked over those. And, you know, I think the best way to tackle this, one, is outside of a regularly scheduled meeting. I mean, you can see that it's 9 o'clock. We're 2 hours into this meeting. And, you know, if we were going to peel this back tonight, we'd be here till, you know, well past midnight. I would propose, there's no planning board meeting this month in 2 weeks from now. I would propose that we actually have a joint meeting with the planning board on the fourth Thursday of the month at 7 o'clock that evening. I guess that would be the 26th of June. And we begin looking at these and having discussion along with the planning board to do that. So that's kind of my thoughts on how to move this forward, move forward to something that we need to do by statute.
Do we have readable draft copies of this available?
Yes, so I emailed that out. I emailed a version.
No. A readable copy I can hold in my hand.
Oh, we can print those out, but we didn't print them all out.
Well,
We can't print
the
them.
last time I tried, the mouse print was so small, I had no hope of seeing it. The last copy I saw.
Yeah, so let me back up a little bit. So the ordinance that
No,
first,
Mr. Foy, absolutely not.
that we first started with was in paper form, PDF form, so the staff at great expense and time, they converted it all into a Word document.
That's right.
That Word document was sent to PTRC. PTRC has made red line changes, so their changes are redlined. They show up to make it 160D compliant. I'm, at the council's request, I also made changes regarding the sign ordinance because the sign ordinance wasn't compliant with current constitutional requirements. And Mr. Tu, our planner, has also gone through and made other suggested changes. All these changes have been redlined, so you can see.
Okay.
That's what you're asking.
If I can, before I forget, we made a motion, I made a motion here and it passed that any changes for 160D that were legally required would be in red and any suggestions would be in blue. Now, I understand everything you just said, there's 3 rounds involved here.
Right.
The Piedmont Triad Council of Governments, they did their thing. You've looked at it pertaining to the sign ordinances, and now a representative of Guilford County has made suggestions, which I don't recall voting to ask him to do that.
Yes, well, and it was my thinking that because he's kind of in charge of administering the ordinance, he ought to kind of have some input into what, if any, changes we made. So, but all these changes are separately marked, so you can see his changes.
Why does he have this input?
Because he's your planner.
But why?
Why is he your planner?
No. Why does he have the authority to propose changes to our ordinance in this cycle? We started this because we have to legally comply with the changes that were made in Raleigh with 160D.
Right.
Now we're getting in it to the same time. What I think I'm hearing is we're getting into administrative suggestions from Guilford County that those aren't legal mandates.
Right.
And Mr. Winfrey, and for everybody assembled, I don't really feel like Guilford County, they're the 300-pound gorilla, we're the tiny little town. But, the biggest example of how they don't take care of us or consider our needs is taking our sales tax money away from us many years ago. That's currently, on paper, the town's short $1.6 million every year. And so, we're trying to get a portion of that back. We all know that. But I just don't want to get confused here and get a copy that Mr. Tew has inserted red ink on and take that to mean that those legal changes have to be made when they're just suggestions by Mr. Tew.
Right.
And he, he wasn't elected by my citizens. He's not sworn in by the town here. And I might add that the Guilford County planners come and go with quite a bit of frequency here. So I don't know that I have a good feel for, the changes he made. Would they be acceptable to the next planner, or would the next planner ask us to change back and, that sort of thing? But it's always been my experience that the planners in the county, they take property rights away, but they never give property rights. They add rules, but they never relax rules. So, that's where my concern is here.
Well, I think that in the draft that I have distributed, I think it's clear which changes came from PTRC, which changes came from me, which changes came from Mr. Tew. So my thinking was, and I'm not sure the red, and blue, and green, I'm not sure the colors are exactly what you, but
Mr.
let me if I can finish. But there's notations in the comments that show who was the author of these changes.
But if a motion of this board to use a color code that this council voted on doesn't matter to the people that we're paying to look at this and review this, what do we do as a board?
Well, I guess I interpreted that motion as saying we want to be able to identify. I don't know that we can make Microsoft Word use blue for changes or red for changes. I don't think we have the ability to do that. I thought the intent of the board was to be able to tell which are the 160D required changes, which are the constitutional required changes, and which may be suggestions from our planner as to whether what changes should be made. And I would remind you, we had this episode with the this PUD approval where they had, because the way the ordinance is written, there were 4 trips out here to get an approval, which I think the board was not entirely happy with, the fact that the ordinance required that. So that's the type of thing that is included, and the board is certainly free to say, we don't want to do that, and we want to take that change out.
The rest of the board will have to do as they think best. I will not vote to give Guilford County more power over this town.
Tim, if I think it'd be great if the town of Stokesdale hired our own planner. If you would like to partner with me in that and pursue that initiative, that's something I've been, I thought I was on an island here, but apparently I infer that you may be in favor of that. So
I'm open to dialogue about it. I said that the last time you brought it up in a meeting, and I mean it. Whatever we can do this best for our citizens and all, but, again, I just feel like we're important to Guilford County, I'm sure, but we're just a pinprick on a map, given that we're 6,000 people and there's 600,000 give or take in the county. Huge budget. We're just kind of out here hanging on, and everything we do matters.
Well, and so I guess I hope that we comply with the wishes of the board in being able to identify which are the 160D required changes, which are the constitutional changes, which changes are being proposed by the planning department.
Okay. Mr. Winfrey, is any legal reason why we couldn't set aside the recommendations from Guilford County and look at those separately at another time?
It's your meeting. You can remove all the changes and review at a different time. So,
so
you can certainly, yes, you have control over that.
And the changes made by the PTRC or recommended were color-coded. That was the motion, was for the PTRC to do that, and they did that with a checklist that was color-coded. I think that's been distributed out.
And we haven't printed the whole thing out. The whole change is 340 pages, so we didn't want to print that out, I mean, at this point.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, if we print one copy and I have to come down here to read it, it's fine, but I'm not necessarily gonna obligate myself to look at that much fine print in 8 font or something with a magnifying glass. I'm not gonna do it, and I think it's unreasonable to ask me to do so.
well, and one thing I had suggested with Mr. Wagner is maybe if you have a laptop or have access to a laptop, that can be done, used, and you can zoom in.
I do not.
Okay.
Not when I'm bringing here, no.
Okay.
I'll be glad to make as many copies as we need. Like we discussed, we are limited to pages with our current printing contract. So, after a certain number of pages, you pay per page. So doing the math, 300 pages for, just say 5 council members and 6 planning board members and staff members, it would get up there. It would be in the thousands.
No, that's not what I said. I said that we should be able to at least afford to print one draft copy.
One copy
that we
would be
could have in the
fine.
building here.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll make it you off.
Or if we need to print everything, I'd rather, everybody that's gonna be in this conversation be comfortable with what they're working with. And a paper copy, I think it's gonna afford a lot of people a degree of comfort, and we might have to print that out. I don't wanna not do that.
Would you be opposed to having those printed at like a FedEx or something?
No.
Okay.
There's something we gotta get done.
Yeah.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying it's going to be a large-scale print job, so sometimes it's better to kind of put those out there and get another company to print them and bring them in.
Well, while we're on the subject, I would like to know what my other 4 council members think about Guilford County chiming in here and making recommendations when we hadn't asked for them.
I think we can just not look at them if we don't want to, and if we want to look, I mean, I'm gonna look at anything that's out there, but that don't mean I'm gonna be willing to vote for something,
I mean, we've got an interlocal agreement with Guilford County to provide our planning services, so I don't necessarily have an issue with it. I don't think it would hurt the gentleman's feelings if we didn't want his participation in that, but I couldn't imagine not having it, because that's who we have right now to do.
I think the issue for me is that we've never talked about having Guilford County review these ordinances and make recommendations. I certainly understand, with all due respect to Mr. Tew, the planner, I can certainly understand why he might assume that we want to have his input here also. But my experience with Guilford County has not always been positive. And again, when this tiny little town deals with them, we're oftentimes at a disadvantage because they have so much more money, so many more people, so much more expertise, higher authority, and all that. And I feel compelled to attempt to protect my citizens that voted for me from Guilford County when possible.
So,
you gonna say something?
we need to move forward, and I know that this is going to be a slow process. And I think the first step that needed to be taken is we received documentation from the Piedmont Triad Regional Council about things that we must do, recommendations that they have, but they're not required. And we've had that document for
Okay. Mr. Foy, how about this? This occurs to me. Why don't we just treat these as 3 different operations? We're reviewing what we got from Piedmont Triad Council of Governments. We get that done. Then we look at what Mr. Winfrey has done with the sign ordinances, what have you. And then we look at what Mr. Tew has done so that we're not doing all 3 at the same time. I know all y'all are very smart, and maybe you all got better eyesight than I do, but I'd like to keep it in some kind of order for me. And certainly if I have questions that pop up from a citizen, I'd like to be able to answer them during this process.
From what I remember, it wasn't a whole lot of changes, was it? I mean, it wasn't. I was kind of disappointed when I seen it, because I thought we spent a whole bunch of money for what we got. I mean, it's really. I mean, I can't sit here and number the changes off, but I just didn't see a whole lot. Did I miss something?
You're right. I mean, the changes aren't substantial.
Like,
Say that's good. That means that our development ordinance isn't too out of whack.
So I got that initial printing, and I was looking, and I just didn't. I didn't see a lot, but of course, something wasn't finished at the time for one of the sign ordinance. Now you've got that in there. Now, Derek, you're not talking about a public hearing with the planning board. You're just talking about a,
Essentially a workshop.
Workshop.
A joint workshop.
right.
And I do think we need our own meeting for that.
Okay, yeah, I think so.
I mean,
too.
this discussion may be supporting evidence for my thoughts, but, we're obligated to be within chapter 160D. We're not right now, so we have hired the Piedmont Triad Regional Council. We've had the information for 6 months now, maybe 5-6 months. So I understand this is not gonna be a pleasant process, but we've got to get going on it.
I don't have a problem with a public, just a workshop at all. I mean, that, just the next step. I mean, we'll be making progress. And, I don't have a problem with a workshop. Now, dates, what date?
26th of June.
2 weeks from today.
7 p.m.
Mr. Mayor, do you object to looking at this in 3 batches instead of combining them, going
I
through
don't
them all
have
at
an
once?
objection, it's just, it's the amount of time, but I'm very aware of, we're limited, no, we're not limited either, but, it would be great to get it all done at one time, but, I realize the amount we're talking about trying to do is not practical.
Well, we're impacting everybody's property rights in Stokesdale.
Yes.
Start
Yes.
discussing these things and makes these changes. We have
Yes.
a tremendous obligation to them to protect their interest.
Well, this will be a good opportunity for us to do that. Let's don't look at it, let's look at it like we're gonna be there to do that, protect their interest. I mean, we could be sitting somewhere on the sidelines and a bunch of people that wanna take our property rights sitting at the table. So, I don't have a problem getting to the table.
So if we do this in 3,
I don't want everybody to know, me and Tim probably feel the same way about a lot of this stuff. And, I know where it's coming from on it, but, we are gonna have to do it. I'd rather do it while you're at the table than when you.
And if this bill in the General Assembly passes, it may not mean anything, because all the development.
Well, you seen, they
influence is
switched
gonna-
that over to Bill 205 to swimming pool bill.
Swimming pool.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
who knows what's gonna happen with that, but I mean, I don't have a problem. I have no problem getting together with planning board, having a workshop and going over these items. You're gonna, if you hadn't already seen it, you're gonna be surprised it's not as much as you think.
Right.
As far as the items. Now, we're talking about the development ordinance.
Correct.
That's what we're talking about there.
Yes, sir.
Other stuff we're gonna need to look at and talk about a little bit more. As you got,
can we segment what we're talking about doing on the 26th? I mean, can we, to Tim's point, can we break it out? We take the first two items and discuss until it.
If I may, I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Mayor. Let me just.
Go right ahead.
If I'm asking, I might as well make a motion. I'd like to make a motion that through this review process, that we prioritize these changes and look at them separately in the following order. Those changes that we paid Piedmont Trad Council of Government to review for compliance with 160D, that we prioritize and finish that first. Then we review the changes that Mr. Winfrey has proposed to our sign ordinance to put us in compliance with the United States Constitution. We look at that second. And then third, we look at the changes being proposed by our Guilford County planner, Mr. Tew. That's my motion.
so we're gonna have 3 different meetings?
We have agenda items here all the time. I don't know why we couldn't have 3 agenda items for a workshop meeting with the.
Oh, wait a minute,
planning
okay, so
board.
that's not what I'm saying. You want to do that when we have our workshop
Okay, in that
meeting,
one meeting, we'll have
we're gonna have all 3 of those items, is what you're saying?
Until we get this done, I'm proposing that we keep these separated, compartmentalized.
Okay, but in the same meeting?
Yeah, certainly in the same
Okay,
meeting.
okay,
Yeah.
I was just,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
thinking. you
I
might-
was
you were saying
thinking,
something.
you're talking about multiple meetings
That's
too.
what it sounded
And
like.
if we have to have a follow-on meeting, well, we don't know. We may wind up having, 3 meetings.
That's fine.
that we
That's fine
maintain
if that's
that
the
order.
case.
That would give me some peace of mind.
I'll second
That's
that motion.
Chuck, the constitutional changes, are those part of the development ordinance or the?
Yeah, they're in the development ordinance, they're under the sign regulation portion of it, and it's really just one section of the ordinance, so it's fairly, fairly straightforward. It would
Yeah,
be.
I think all of this is fairly straightforward. I really do. It's.
If they're straightforward, it won't take just a
I mean,
little bit then.
We've got a few things that we've got to do. I
Yeah.
mean, we don't have any choice. We've got
Okay,
to
so
do.
no one objects to the motion as stated?
And you're talking about doing that at the June 26th?
26th,
And any follow-on meetings until we get it done.
if, yeah. Okay. And I second that motion.
And I think that will help the planning board keep it organized as well.
Oh, I think it'll be a good thing.
And just for the board's information, I have discussed with Mr. Sumner, whether he thought they'd be available or what his thoughts on, he's chairman of the planning board, what his thoughts were about having this joint meeting, and he seemed to be supportive of having that too. He thought it'd be helpful to have it at the same time, to meet with you also. I don't know that he necessarily had a chance to talk with the rest of his board, but at least he indicated that he thought that would be a good idea. And that they would probably be available on the 26th, because that's their ordinarily scheduled meeting.
Good. Any further discussion? Call for the vote. Mr. Rigsby.
Aye.
Mr. Foy.
Aye.
Mr. Landrith.
Aye.
Mr. Jones.
Aye.
And I am also aye. Okay, so these items 16 and 17, we've just covered that. Is that correct, Mr. Foy? Am I with you?
No,
But
actually,
we covered 16, I think.
so 17,
17 not fall into that same category?
it doesn't. So I
okay.
would like to have that agenda item and
Discussion of Town Stokesdale Code of Ordinances.
and if Chuck,
Yes, so in addition to the development ordinance, there's another set of ordinances that the town has that deals with things like speeding and, speed limits and other things that are not in the development ordinance, but are also ordinances of the town of Stokesdale. And they are a little bit out of date too. American Legal Publishing, I think the town hired them to prepare a review of those ordinances. And they came up with a summary, I think it was 41 issues with those, mainly with regard to references to statutes that have been repealed or that no longer apply to the ordinance. And so I need to go through those. I've not gone through all those 41 changes yet, so that's a different set of ordinances that we would mean to look at, but the planning board would not necessarily be involved with that because it's not a development ordinance issue. So the planning board wouldn't be involved with that. It would just be this board.
Is this something we need to put off till the July meeting?
You could put off or yes, if you want me to go ahead and go through those 41 changes and just kind of report back what needs, make a recommendation.
I think that's best. Does anyone object to that?
I don't object to that, and thank you, Chuck, for.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna move the item number 17, Code of Ordinances. We'll move it to the July meeting. Mr. Wagner?
Move to the July meeting, and you're authorizing Mr. Winfrey to go ahead and start responding to that legal review?
Yes.
Okay.
Do we need a vote on this? No?
Just continue with it. I think it's
We're good.
Good.
Okay. Consideration of contract to audit accounts, 2024, 2025 fiscal year.
I make a motion to accept the proposal from Cindy Randolph CPA as submitted in the meeting council packet to audit the town's financials for the fiscal year ending June 30th of 2025 in the amount of $11,200.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion?
Is this her second year or third year?
This will be your third.
Third year.
Discussion?
Just a question for the board for next year. Typically, the state recommends that we rotate auditors from time to time. This is the third year. Would we generally think that we're going to perhaps look at another auditor for the fourth year?
We would put it out to, bid much like we did 3 years ago, and I think
It's-
3 or 4 folks accepted proposals, and we went with the most economic proposal, and at the time, Summerfield had also used her.
Yeah, I got you, but, and nothing against Ms. Randolph at all, let me make that clear, it's just generally accepted practice that you rotate, auditors.
Is this something that would better be left to the next, board? There's a chance we
Oh,
will
yeah,
have to
yeah,
change them, but-
I'm just, for general conversation's sake,
okay.
I'm just bringing it up, so next time it comes up, nobody
Yeah.
would be surprised.
Okay,
And that
certainly
definitely
Ms.
could be a
Randolph.
discussion that would be better suited, a year down the road when we're doing this. Or it may not be a year, we'll have
I
to,
just,
yeah.
well, I'd just like for the record to reflect that this, and when you write the minutes, that this is the third year that Ms. Randolph will be, if this vote is successful, will be conducting the audit.
okay. So we've got a motion and a second on, adoption of the contract, as stated by Mr. Foy. Call for the vote. Mr. Rigsby? Aye. Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Mr. Landrith?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
I am I.
And I am I. Consideration of cost proposal for ancillary benefits for full-time town employees.
The League of Municipalities is no longer offering dental insurance, short-term disability and vision insurance, effective June 30th of this year. So Robbie, I believe you spent a lot of time on this, has called different health insurance providers and gotten different quotes, and it appears our best landing spot is to secure these 3 different options using Salem Benefits, who provides our health insurance today. So I'm just going to thank you, Robbie, for the work putting this together. I make a motion for the town of Stokesdale to pay 85% of the dental insurance premium for full-time employees. The annual cost of the town of Stokesdale for 3 employees amounts to $1,312.74.
I'll second.
Got a motion or got a second? Do we have any discussion? There's no discussion. I'll call for the vote. Mr. Rigsby? Aye. Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Mr. Landrith?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
I'm I.
And I am also aye.
I make a motion for the town of Stokesdale to pay 85% of the vision insurance for full-time employees. The annual cost of the town for 3 employees amounts to $260.10.
Second.
What are we currently paying? We paying 85% now?
85% now.
You got a second?
Got a motion and a second. Discussion? Call for the vote. Mr. Rigsby? Aye. Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Mr. Landrith?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
I'm I.
And I am also aye.
I make a motion for the town of Stokesdale to pay 85% of the short-term disability premium for full-time employees. The annual cost of the town of Stokesdale for 3 employees amounts to $1,162.80.
Second.
Motion and a second. Do we have discussion? Call for the vote. Mr. Rigsby? Aye. Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Mr. Landrith?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
I am I.
And I am also aye. That cover it, Mr. Foy?
It does, sir.
Consideration to allow the town administrator, town clerk, to attend the Summer Clerks Conference, Fall Regional Clerks Conference, Fall Master Clerks Academies, and Spring Regional Clerks Conference within the 2025-2026 fiscal year. I take it these are educational opportunities?
Correct.
I noticed all these are lumped together for several different ones. Is there some reason why we're not doing one at a time? Is it cheaper to pay for them all at the same time?
No, this is just to streamline the process, similar as last year. They'll all be paid for at a separate time, but they will all be paid for in the same budget year. So rather than bringing this forward after each meeting, the problem is, for instance, registration for this first class opened up 2 days ago, but I haven't been able to register yet because I need approval. So it's easier to knock them all out in one go.
And they're already in the budget.
They're already in the budget, that's right.
This amount doesn't include any travel expenses,
It does.
or it does?
The mileage is broken out on the bottom of that table for each one.
Okay, I'm sorry, thank you, I got it. Harrods Cherokee Resort,
That's quite a learning experience,
I don't
young
get to
Mr.
pick the
Wagner.
location.
Just don't take the checkbook.
I don't pick the locations. I will say this is the first time I've been to one on the western part of the state, but they do rotate them, western, Piedmont, and eastern.
Is there any other place for us to put you up? I don't like, I realize that lots of people go there and have a great time. I'm not the biggest supporter of organized gambling, so is there another lodging option?
Got some teepees up there.
Well, I'll say, I will say this, when they set these conferences, they set a group rate for the rooms. You get a pretty substantial discount by staying in the hotel where the conference is held. You also won't have to pay me mileage to drive back and forth from another hotel to this one, I think.
And it's been my experience, if you're not in the event center, it can be a complete waste of your time. So with the thought that Mr. Wagner will behave himself and not come back broke,
Oh, well, I'm gonna tell you, it's hard to do.
well, it is, but
I'll tell you, it is.
it is. And these are the voices of experience, okay? But
Don't look 20
with
years
that
from now.
said, I'd like to make a motion that we do adopt these. Authorize Mr. Wagner to make the appropriate registrations and reservations.
Should we send a chaperone? Yeah, maybe I need to go.
We need,
Let's add a not to exceed. What's the budget number for next year?
It's in my memo. I don't have it right in front of me, but I added them all up in that memo provided to council. I want to say it's in the 3,000 range on the second page. $3,250 is the estimated cost for all of my conferences, for the
not to exceed 3,500 maybe?
Chairman wouldn't do that, wouldn't you?
Not to exceed 3,500.
Okay, is that, are you seconding the motion with that amendment?
Yes.
Okay. So I've got a motion, I've got a second with the amendment, not more than $3,500.
Okay.
Discussion? Call for the vote.
I can't,
I'm sorry?
I can't support sending us to an town employee to the Las Vegas in North Carolina,
That's fine.
but that's the reason.
Mr. Rigsby?
Aye.
Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Mr. Landrith?
No.
And I am I. I don't think we have any choice as to what the location
I
might
would
be.
like
He's
to
going to be
sure-
there.
Like to be sure my vote is clear for the record. You didn't let me vote.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jones. I thought, I apologize. You had made your,
I know it's getting late. You're forgiven.
thank you, sir.
There's nothing you can do that's gonna get you sent home.
Mr. Jones. We're going to have to talk later.
I am nay.
Mr. Jones is nay. We have 2 nays, 3 yays. Consideration to allow Town Finance Budget Officer to attend the North Carolina Government Finance Office Association 2025 Summer Conference.
Where's that at?
It's the same place.
Seriously,
It's the fall. Yes.
I will say, these associations often book these in the same area for the sole purpose of getting better rates. If you have these state organizations booking these in sequence at the same location, you get a far better rate. That's why they do it.
Are you two going to be there at the same time?
We won't. It'll be 2 separate months.
Mr. Wagner, I do understand that you don't run the organization and all. It just, I have to stand in front of these citizens out here
I understand.
time to time and
I'm not
support
even
this stuff.
Thinking about that, I'm not, I'm for y'all getting all the education that you can get. I'm not against that whatsoever. But, not at all. So don't think it.
No, I understand.
Okay, I'm going to make a,
I think for 20 years from now, that was what set you off.
Hey,
I mean, I'm serious.
no, I understand. Trust me.
I've been down the, so y'all go ahead.
Should we
I'm
hire
good.
a chaperone?
You wouldn't want it to be me.
Could we look into, see if any of the fake TPs in town are available?
Yeah,
Or maybe the YMCA or,
yeah, no, y'all think that's funny.
No, I know what you're saying.
Temptation is everywhere, my man. Temptation is
I
everywhere.
understand, but I don't have to vote on it.
No, sir, you don't, or fund it. Consideration, I make a,
We could go home tonight and gamble online legally and, you know.
I understand.
Not
all that.
because I voted for it, Mr. Ford.
Well, I will state for the record, I do not gamble and I do not play the lottery, so.
You're smart.
there was a time I didn't chase women either, but,
And I want to
I
say
got
my
one at home.
opposition is not Mr. Wagner Pacific or Ms. Thacker
No,
Pacific.
absolutely not.
You gonna make a motion or I will?
I'm just trying to get it all done.
Yeah.
Okay, I make a motion that we allow the town finance officer, town finance and budget officer, to make the necessary reservations and registrations for the North Carolina Government Finance Officer Association Summer 2025 Conference. Do we have a budget for this? I'm sure we do. What do we have a limit? I'm sorry?
It's for 1836.
In my motion, not to exceed 2,000.
Right. And I will just say for.
$2,000.
Point of clarification, this is my fault. I think the agenda, everything that I put this states summer, but it's actually going to be in the fall. So just to clarify, hers is in the fall. Mine's in the summer, and I assumed hers was as well.
Okay,
So
all right. Do we have, just as a point of note, do we have any vacations that are in conflict? Is Mr. Winfrey going to be with us during times you'll be out?
I believe so. I haven't taken a vacation in quite some time, so I know that I'll be here up until then and after. I think that Mr. Winfrey is going on vacation next week, so he should be here at that time as well.
Okay,
We trust you'll coordinate everything properly.
Yeah, it'll all be handled.
please, if you will, yes, okay.
If we
I have
to
a
close-
motion. Do I have a second?
If we have to close a couple of days, we'll close a couple of days.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Yes.
Got a second, okay. Without further discussion, I'll call the vote. Mr. Rigsby?
Aye.
Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Mr. Landrith?
No?
Mr. Jones?
I'm nay also.
I'm also aye. Consideration of dates of summer 2025 bulk waste collection by GFL Environmental at Stokesdale Town Hall. I've seen these dates. What's,
Mr. Mayor, could you back up a second if it's appropriate? Give me a little patience with me here a second. Would this board entertain the idea of sending just a short letter to this organization and suggest to them that not every council member or every board supports organized gambling in the state of North Carolina, and that this is it's not fair not to give us an option to have our employees at a venue that we could be proud to vote for?
may I suggest, if you have that objection, that you author the letter as a council member?
Yeah, I can. It'll be short and blunt, but I
Yeah.
can. If Mr. Wagner will help me process it, I will,
Anyone else have a suggestion on this?
I will author such a letter, or is the board gonna vote to authorize the mayor to sign it without reading this letter?
I think you should send it from yourself as a town council member. I don't see the need for I'm not necessarily agreeing with you. I'd like to see the content before I sign the letter.
You know, if I could step sideways here a minute, we're facing the issue of casinos in the state of North Carolina. It's a very big issue. It's something that's in our backyard. It's something that we have covered before. It's going to divide our community one way or the other if it goes in, or if it doesn't go in. It's kind of a divisive issue, but it's something that I can't support. It's not, you know, I got friends that say, oh yeah, I go to the casino all the time, love it and all. That's fine, they can go. I'm just saying I can't support it. And so I'm being faced with a situation here where I have to vote against sending our town employees to get training that I support because I'm in conflict about the location. And so I feel like somebody in Raleigh or with this organization is making decisions ignoring that there's a difference of opinion across the state about organized gambling. That's my point. I withdraw this. Council won't support sending a notice to
I
make
actually
a
see where you're
change.
coming from, because we're spending public monies.
Yes,
I mean, you got a point.
thank you. I'll send a separate request.
If you want to pen a letter, I'll sign it with you.
Let's just do that so we can move on. Mr. Landers and I will send our own request to them, objection to them, and
Okay.
you know, if y'all want to sign on, I'll give you a chance.
The consideration of the bulk pickup days, this is 22.
It'll be 2 weeks from today. It'll start on Monday, end on Thursday,
Got it.
the 23rd through the 26th.
Mr. Wagner, I think you've got a different plan from the last time. Would you like to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I'll be glad to. So last time, they brought one large roll-off dumpster and placed it in the parking lot, and it filled up pretty quickly. Even though it was a good size, it filled up quickly. And they didn't pick it up until the next day, and so that meant overnight people were leaving stuff in the parking lot. We spoke with the general manager at GFL in Greensboro about this, and he proposed bringing, and another issue of that was the doors sometimes wouldn't be open, and so folks couldn't reach over those 7-foot side walls to put stuff in there. So he's proposed bringing 3 to 4 smaller dumpsters with 4-foot walls and continuously emptying those and bringing empty ones and rolling off full ones throughout the day. And so that should knock out 2 birds with 1 stone, more empty dumpsters with lower sides so that you can get the items into them easily.
How can we publish this?
Same way we did last time. So it just so happens water bills will go out next Thursday. We can place it on the back of the water bills. We can put it on Facebook, on the website. If council would like to go door to door, that would be fine as well.
Very good. I make a motion that we accept these dates for this bulk pickup.
Second?
Got a motion and a second discussion. Call for the vote. Mr. Rigsby.
Aye.
Mr. Foy.
Aye.
Mr. Landreth.
Aye.
Mr. Jones.
I am I.
And I'm also
Do this
aye.
2 times, right, Robbie?
Correct. You can do it up to twice a year biannually.
Yeah. Good way to get some stuff, possibly not.
Okay, we're going to open up for public comments. Would ask again if you would limit it to 3 minutes. Would anyone like to speak?
I've got a card here from Mr. Logan.
Mr. Michael Logan, that's good. Hang on to it, and I'll recognize. Michael Logan, please, sir. Welcome. How'd the meeting go tonight?
It went very good. I got a little information for you, but y'all
Knock us out.
know it. I will say with previous meeting before I came in here, I did talk to John Bluss tonight, representative for our district. And it sounds like House Bill 305 is going to be coming out of committee or being brought up in committee on Tuesday and should be on the floor on Wednesday. And it looks pretty good. I will say at our state Republican convention, I was discussing with some of the senators within the Republican Party that attended it. And y'all have brought to light a concern that affects a number of municipalities across our state. And it is the way the funding and the sales tax is distributed within the counties. It basically shows that small towns are being shortchanged.
Mr. Logan, we feel like we're the little kid at school that's the bully's taking our lunch money.
Well, I'll say there are some changes within Guilford County, so hopefully y'all will get your money and that will go through nice and smooth. And with that being said, what I'd like to do as precinct chair for the Republican Party within Stokesdale is we're going to do a picnic. I have discussed this town council to members across the state. I have brought up the way y'all discuss things. You have 15 items on your agenda tonight. You literally could have those 15 items on a consent agenda and you could do an up or down vote on it. Yes or no? No discussion on it. And most likely, 2 or 3 of the items would have been pulled, but the rest would have been a yes vote, and it'd have gone quickly. I'd probably already be at home sitting in front of my TV, watching TV or on my computer. This meeting would have ended an hour ago, hour and a half ago maybe. But y'all stay here, y'all discuss everything that you're spending and everything that you're doing for the town of Stokesdale. So, I'd like to have a picnic, and I'd like to invite the town council out to it. I'd like to invite the staff to it, and I'd like to invite the people of Stokesdale out to it. July 12th, out in y'all's park. I would like to invite particularly Mike Crawford, mayor, show you how the Stokesdale is run, and the council members. Come out, eat a hot dog, talk with people. I have invited several members within the Republican Party. They're either running for office or in office if they would like to come out and speak or come out and just visit and talk and see how Stokesdale is run. Because reality is, if the rest of our government ran their business like Stokesdale, we wouldn't be in the financial mess we are within Guilford County, and we definitely wouldn't be within the financial mess within Guilford County schools. So, thank you. Thank you for what you do, and look forward to seeing you on July 12th.
Mr. Logan, thank you for the kind
Yeah,
words.
that's a big compliment, Mike.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you for everything you are doing.
So I hear y'all got a grill put back out there, and so it's
That's
good
right.
for hot dogs,
Hey,
right?
if you need one, we'll bring you one.
All right. If not, I got a big one I can bring.
All right.
Mr. Logan, I do have a question for you.
Yes.
I read just recently that Guilford County has basically acknowledged in writing now that they only have enough to fund, I forget the exact number, but around 35 projects, and the rest are basically on hold permanently. Am I correct on that?
Pretty much. I don't even think it's gonna be 35.
Say 35.
Yeah, I can't
I think
remember the
last I
exact
saw
number.
it was like 21 or
Yeah, maybe
23, 21 or
it's-
23, and the last couple of them on the
Dropping.
list did not even have funding applied to them. And in a lot of the cases on those projects, there's no guaranteed maximum price. They haven't bid out the projects yet. So the reality is they do not know what it's gonna cost them.
And we lost the new high school, the aviation high school.
I haven't heard any more discussions of the aviation school. The last discussion with that was building a facility with GTCC. It was not a high school. So,
It would be a smart move, given the news that today with the jet company to maybe, rediscuss some funding from that to build a high
what if we had
school
put that as a priority years ago?
But I didn't hear it either. So I just wanted to bring that up to get it out in the public. But I do think Northwest Middle School is still on the upper list.
Middle school is still on the list. And I believe that literally boils down to finding property. They have to get property for the facilities. Now, I will say Revolution Academy, a charter school, just got 60 acres within probably a quarter mile of Northwest Middle School. And I asked those people, I said, how can y'all do that? They said it's because of the regulations. The public schools overregulate themselves in everything they purchase and everything they do. And so the reality is that is what drives the cost up within the schools. And I will say there is some legislation, hopefully that will remove some regulations from schools in particular, and not this, that, but the way government operates. Government operates inefficient. So bring some efficiency back to it.
Thank you,
Is there any
sir.
more questions, or y'all? Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Mr. Winfrey?
Yes.
Can we all attend this cookout by just simply sending out a quorum notice that's saying, hey, we're all gonna be there, but no town business gonna be conducted?
Yeah, I would just say possibility of a quorum. We're not sure who's gonna be there, so I would just maybe send a notice out to say that there's a possibility that quorum would be present.
Just the usual.
It's an open invitation to the town anyway, right? As though it were a meeting.
I'll have to just put a time. What time?
We'll probably do it between 10 and 2 o'clock.
Mr. Winfrey, you're gonna come, right? You're welcome to join us.
I may,
I'll buy you a hot dog.
I'd love to. I'll see if I
Good.
can make it.
Right.
Good.
Want to make sure that you're invited too.
Okay.
Okay, that's good. Mike, if you went over 3 minutes, that's okay. All right. I'm going to open up council comments right now. I got a couple of things. Mr. Winfrey, I was approached by one of our citizens about amending our minutes from a previous meeting. It's my understanding that our meetings stand as they are taken and that the minutes are recorded. The clerk, our town clerk, is required to report what happens in these meetings as concisely as possible and as clearly as possible. There is also another recording of what's going on at the same through YouTube, which would keep us from changing anything that we might have in past minutes. I just want to be sure that I'm on good footing there. I have not been back in touch with the individual, but I do want to be sure that at this point we can't fulfill the request.
Yeah, the request in question was not a town council meeting, it was a Board of Adjustment meeting.
Correct.
And at the Board of Adjustment meetings, as you know, all testimony, all the evidence is sworn, and it's a quasi-judicial matter, and so the minutes, recital of what was said at the meeting is not something that can be changed afterward, as long as it accurately reflects what was in fact said. So I think if we were talking about a regular town council meeting, the board might have some discretion in changing their minutes. But if it's a Board of Adjustment where it's quasi-judicial, I don't think that's open to review at this point, especially if it's like 4 years ago, I think is my recollection. When that
It was prior to my time, but I happen to be the one that approved, or my signature is on the bottom of the accepting the minutes of that meeting.
Was there something deleted or not put in the minutes, or?
There was some question as to just derogatory comments about people who were present, and evidently in searching that particular individual, it comes back up, and she thinks, I'm sorry, the individual thinks that it's just misrepresenting her. Anyway.
Yeah, I think it was allegation there was defamatory statements were made was what the complaint is.
Yes.
Were made at the hearing.
Was it from council or an individual?
It was from another individual testifying at this.
Okay, so I mean, that's nothing, I mean.
It's strictly between the citizenry. It
Right.
had nothing.
That's a First Amendment issue, right?
Well, yes, but the offended individual was asking that the minutes be changed to take those statements out of the minutes.
And all they are comments. That's really all they are. They're
But
just
they
opinion.
were statements that were made.
They were statements that were made, and it was a quasi-judicial thing, and you can't go back and change.
The other thing, if we should attempt to do this, to change them, we open ourselves up to legal action.
You can't take things out of there that
But
Yeah,
we're in agreement there. Okay.
I don't think we have legal authority to go back and change the minutes.
You've answered my question. Go ahead. Did you have something, Mr. Jones?
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor.
That's fine. I just wanted to move on.
I would certainly be willing to give them, a little bit of my time to listen to whatever they got to say, but I think maybe it might be a good idea for them to reduce their request to writing and submit it to council. Is that an option?
This was an email that was sent to me. It was sent to our county commissioner. I believe Mr. Wagner got a copy. And I think we've just resolved it.
It's something I hadn't seen though, right?
It wasn't sent to you. If you'd like for me to, I'll be more than happy to share it with you. But I think we've taken care of it. I don't think we need to go any further. I don't think we need to address it any further.
Okay.
We're covering our base. The next thing is, I believe it is August the 16th. This is a Scout recognition, Eagle Scout recognition at Oak Ridge Methodist Church. It's Saturday, 2 p.m. The people that are putting it on have requested that we have a council member present if at all possible, to recognize the two scouts, the two Eagle Scouts that they're being recognized in this ceremony. So I'm going to ask, would anybody be able to attend that on the 16th of August?
I've already RSVP'd.
Yeah, I've signed up for it.
Oh, have you? Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't want to speak,
Unfortunately,
I'll
I
let Derek
cannot.
do that.
Well,
That's
certainly,
great.
with anything like that, I don't think any of us would mind a phone call. Hey, can you make this, cause Jimmy Landreth Kane or something like that, and we'll.
Okay,
I
okay.
think we would all listen to such a request.
I wasn't aware that it had gone that far. Okay, that's good. Was one of these Eagle Scouts one that we
Yes.
were not able to give the plaque to?
Oh,
We gave it to him. Andrew Niesel has the plaque.
But there was one Eagle Scout
what
we
about
didn't
the other
give.
young man?
What was
Isn't
it?
he?
There was another Eagle Scout who wasn't able to make the meeting.
And this is
not him.
This
That's
is
correct.
Andrew and Gavin.
I don't recall.
Gavin Rickman and Andrew Nessel.
I don't recall the second individual. That first individual, you all did do a ceremony here at the town hall and give him a
I do,
plaque.
I remember that. But if we didn't do the plaque, now that would be the time maybe, Mr. Ford. You agree? That'd be the time to give the plaque if we had it?
He's got the plaque.
He already has the plaque. That's correct.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I didn't think it
but
was
I-
given to him.
I will add, you guys are now telling me that a quorum may be present at this.
No, I won't attend if Mr. Ford's going to be there or anyone else.
Okay, so no quorum notice is necessary.
No, I'm simply saying that if somebody calls me to fill in because Jimmy Landreth's got the flu or something, I'll
Okay.
give it serious consideration.
Okay.
Well, I may have it.
All right,
You funny, you know that.
I may be.
all right. That's it for me.
There's something I may
Thank you,
not
folks, for
get.
being here.
Do you mind if we have comments?
I'm finishing mine.
Okay.
Thank you all for being here. I do appreciate it very much, and look forward to Michael's picnic out in our park. Mr. Rigsby?
Hey, thank you for putting up with my tardiness this evening. My son's graduation party was tonight, so we were doing that, and we had graduation last night, and lacrosse banquet on Tuesday night, and lacrosse game on Monday night. So it's been a busy week, and it continues on into the weekend, but I'm glad I can make it for the rest of the meeting. Thank you for all the citizens that come out, and I appreciate everything. Thank you.
I wanted to give a big special thanks to Miss Martin, Miss Dale Martin. It seems like yesterday. I believe it was April of 2021 when we first spoke with Miss Martin and begged her to come out of retirement to help us turn things around. We were in a bad place as a town. And she played a pivotal role in that. She actually knew of Robbie's name and helped reach out to Robbie and set up an interview there. And, she's just had a fantastic career. She really made her footprint and difference as the town clerk of Kernersville. But, she came out of retirement and really just helped us get to where we needed to be. We're so grateful for everything she's done and wish her the very best in her second retirement. So thank you all for being here. Thank you to council. Thank you to staff. Thank you to Chuck. We have a closed session we're going to have to go to, but hope everybody has a great summer.
Mr. Landreth?
I guess I'd like to congratulate, I think it was 510 Northwest graduates. Is that
believe
right?
that's
Wasn't it
correct.
510?
510 or 511,
I think it was 510. It was an even number, but, and Cole Rigsby was one of them. I didn't get to clap for him because my wife was doing the camera, and about the time I started to clap, she threw the paper at me. And I caught it, and they were going quick. 510. I've never seen so many people graduating going across the stage.
I was going to say, Mr. Hill, the one advantage of not making back to school board, you didn't have to stand up there and shake 510 hands last night and then do the graduation before.
Yeah.
And then one today and the one, that was a lot of commitment from those on the stage, wasn't it?
It was a lot. That was something else. To see, I decided that I was going to try to get my grandkids out of the Northwest School District because there's no way in 9 years I'll be able to sit there and go through that, sitting there for graduation in 9 years like that. But that was really nice to attend that. And, it was great. And as far as the town goes, good job again, you know, we stayed tax-free again. We worked with what we have, and appreciate everybody. Appreciate the town, too. I mean, it takes the citizens. If the citizens didn't want it like this, it wouldn't be this way. It'd be voting people in that want to do things different. So, you know, citizens are a big part of this, and just, you know, appreciate everybody. It's a great place to live.
Mr. Jones?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to thank everybody that's sat through this meeting almost to 10 o'clock, all 6 of you. So I appreciate you being here. It would be tough to sit here and have a meeting in front of empty chairs. Just wouldn't feel right, so we appreciate you being here. I'd like to take an opportunity to remind everybody July the 4th is coming up, and to keep in mind all our service members that might be overseas and not be able to celebrate with their families, and also to take some time and reflect upon our Declaration of Independence and our Constitution, and that gift that we have. I think it's been said, a republic, if you can keep it, and I hope that we can. So I'd like everybody to keep the 4th in mind with our founding documents in mind. And I'd like to thank the staff and, of course, Mr. Winfrey.
Also remind everybody, this is our 250th anniversary of the United States Army this weekend. So, yes, in keeping with Mr. Foy's or Mr. Jones's comments, it's very important that we do remember all of that, and very important that we don't forget it. Okay, with all that said, I'd like to make a motion that the town council enter into a closed session in accordance with North Carolina General Statute 143-318.111.11A3. The purpose of the closed session is to consult the attorney employed or retained by the public body in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and the public body, which privilege is hereby acknowledged. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Mr. Landreth?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
I'm aye.
And I am aye. Let's take a break.
Where was the graduation? Greensville College?
They had the whole.
Just for the graduates?
No, it's just for the.
You leaving?
You met the mayor, hadn't you?
I don't know if we have or not.
Stokesdale and run for the
My boy Marshall.
Oh, sure, I met Marshall.
do a better
Yeah.
job
God,
if you live.
Has he grown a foot since I saw
Yeah,
him?
he's grown a little bit.
Foot since the parade.
How about that? Yeah.
Look at this.
Y'all could do
When he
it
walked
in
in there, I thought, There are announcements before you adjourn.
I'd like to make a motion to reconvene the open meeting. Do I have a second?
Second?
Mr. Rigsby? Aye. Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Landrith? Aye. Mr. Jones?
Aye, aye.
Okay, give me just 1 second.
Did the fence and all that?
Got a couple of announcements. The June 24th, 2025 Project R 5823 informational meeting hosted at North Carolina DOT, designated time for town council officials 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., designated time for general public 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Mr. Winfrey, do we create a quorum problem if we're all here at 3 p.m.?
Which, I'm sorry, what are we talking about?
This is the first item in the announcements, June 24th.
Yes, what I would do is I would, it's not a problem, I would just send out a notice of potentially there's maybe a quorum of the town council may be present.
But we will be talking about the business of the town of Stokesdale.
That's right, yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, that's fine.
No votes will be taken.
Okay,
Just
all
say no
right,
action.
moving on.
Considering issues.
Okay.
Okay, June 26, 2025, regular town planning board meeting. That's been canceled. July the 4th, town hall will be closed. July the 8th, 2025, regular town board of adjustment meeting, that's been canceled. 7/10/2025, regular town council meeting is at 7 p.m. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Mayor.
I'm sorry?
Item 26 on the agenda, so I think just for the record, we just need to say that that matter has been continued.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, I'm sorry.
And I was gonna, suggest we make a motion to have a special called town council meeting on Thursday, June 26th at 6:45.
Thought we did that. I'm sorry. Okay,
No.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, yeah, but I've got to, say, I guess, what the purpose,
Well, the notice, when the notice goes out, we go,
when the meeting notice goes out. Okay,
we'll
well,
put the purposes on the notice.
understood, okay, yeah.
Good.
Everybody good with that?
Motion, second? Yep. Mr. Rigsby?
Aye.
Mr. Foy?
Aye.
Mr. Landrith? Mr. Jones?
Why we voted on it when the meeting can just be called by council?
It can be called during a meeting too. We don't need to vote on it, but that, I
No,
don't
no,
know.
I just making sure I understand. I'm fine with
Yeah,
voting on it.
I'm not.
I'm aye.
Okay,
Okay, and I'm aye. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
you do,
Do I have a second?
you do. Oh,
I'll second the motion.
You can't do both. Mr. Rigsby?
aye.
Mr. Foy? Mr. Landrith? Mr. Jones?
Aye.
And I am aye. Thank you all very much.
You're unanimous in it, Derek.